And we are live. Welcome to the Whatever Dating Talk podcast with a special American Gladiators edition. Thank you for tuning in tonight. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me. I appreciate that. We're coming to you live from Santa Barbara, California, every Sunday and Tuesday at 7 p.m. Pacific. I am your host, Brian Atlas. I'm joined by my co-hosts, Madysen, and with the blue hair, Ashley St. Clair. She's a bit shy. A few quick announcements before the show begins. This podcast is viewer-supported heavy YouTube demonetization, so please consider donating through Streamlabs instead of super chatting, as YouTube takes a brutal 30% cut. So if you super chat 100, YouTube takes 30. If you donate 100, Streamlabs only takes 3, streamlabs.com/whatever. Link is in the description. Guys, please see the description for all details about Super Chat and tip triggers. We've adjusted it for this special show we're doing here. If you want to interact nearly instantly with us and weigh in on the conversation, consider sending a TTS, text-to-speech message. Guys, we have channel memberships. To become a member, hit the join button. Tier 1 is just $5 a month. You can also gift memberships. We're also live on Twitch right now. Pull up another tab. Go to twitch.tv/whatever. Drop us a follow and a Prime sub if you have one. We got merch, shop.whatever.com, stuff you can wear to not be naked. Don't be a criminal. Get some merch. Follow us on Instagram at whatever. Any girls who want to be on the show, DM at whatever on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram, BD_Atlas. Check out my nonprofit, Big Labia Matter, or BLM for short. If you can't catch the full shows, we have 3 clips channels, links in the description. Go subscribe. Without further ado, we're going to have the guests introduce themselves. So, please tell us about yourselves. Go ahead. Or Dan, why don't you go first?
Oh, hey, my name is Dan Nitro Clark. I used to do a television show called American Gladiators. I've just had a very fun documentary series on Netflix called Muscles of Mayhem that, thanks to everyone's support, was #1 in the United States, debuted. And I'm with my good friend here.
I'm Lori Fetrick. I played Ice on the American Gladiators. I have a podcast called Chillin' with Ice. And yes, the Muscles of Mayhem documentary was amazing. And
it was great.
Oh my God, it was
great.
awesome. So thanks for having us.
Well, thank you guys for coming. And I think you both are underselling yourselves a little bit because, I mean, Dan, there's certainly you have a lot more achievements than just having been a gladiator. And of course, the documentary was incredibly successful. And you too, Ice, we can get into that. Or just point of clarification, do you guys prefer Dan and Lori or Nitro, Ice, whatever?
Whatever comes out of your mouth.
Okay.
It's fine.
All right. There we go. Madysen, do you want to
My
introduce
name's
yourself?
Madysen. I am 18 years old. I guess I'm the now co-host
For today.
For today.
You're on probation.
Okay.
Okay.
For today, I'm the co-host of the Whatever podcast. I'm also a student at Santa Barbara City College studying accounting and business, as well as a host at a bar.
Lovely. Okay, cool. So before we kind of get into it, what's your guys' current relationship status? So are you single, talking stage, situationship, friends with benefits, relationship, married, polycule, sex cult, any of the above?
Damn.
There's quite a few. How long have you been, if you're single, how long have you been single? Or how long have you been in a relationship, and what's your longest relationship?
So right now, I live with a fantastic woman. We raise her son together. We've both been married before. So at this point, after 7 years, we have decided not to get married. But we still talk about it. I think once you've been married, you kind of know what the deal is. You know that there's a 65 to 70% failure rate in Southern California. So why are you going to buy into a failing institution if you've already done it? Your car's broke. It breaks down. Why would you go buy that car again? So no, not married, but very, very happy. Probably for the first time in my life with 100% with one woman. And sorry for all the women before that I just said I wasn't happy with one woman. But yeah, that's my status right now.
And you've been with her for how long? You said seven years with your
She
current?
knows exactly about it, but would say it's 7 or 8 years, somewhere
Okay.
in that ballhood. Because there was the, how do you call it, the hanging and banging days, and then, gradually you progress into a very meanful and substantial relationship.
Okay.
Did you fall asleep on that?
I did.
No, I was
I did.
captivated. I was captivated.
Very captivated.
And you said at one point, though, you were previously married. Is that correct?
Yeah, I was married for about 5 years.
5 years.
So
okay.
look, I wanted to see what it was. So I was a guy who grew up and, to me, women were fun. And when they stopped being fun, I just found new fun. And as I started to get through my 20s, I felt like this thing inside that wasn't fulfilled. So I've always heard about true love. This is what true love, it's happiness. The movies, the books, the commercials. They tell you true love is where happiness is. So I said, I'm going to try it. So I found a girl and I tried it. Yeah.
Okay.
And it was a social experiment that lasted about 3 years. And we ended up total, I think it was 5 years. But I do have a son from a previous relationship.
Right. Yeah. Do you have any other kids or just the one?
I have the
son?
stepson who lives with us now. Who's fantastic.
Okay. And one stepson.
Yeah, my son Tyler, he's a great kid. He lives in Portugal, and it was an accident. His mother told me that she couldn't get pregnant.
I read that in your book.
Yes.
I read Teresa, right?
Yeah, just bring it out there, Teresa.
Yeah.
She said
It's in the book. You know?
Yeah, it's in the book. Yeah,
In the book. Here, pass me the book.
Yeah, so she said she couldn't get pregnant, but it was like the biggest head fake because it wasn't like, I'm on the pill. It wasn't any of that. It was like, I do not ovulate. And I'm 23 years old at the time, and she was 28, and I figured, okay, she doesn't ovulate. It's okay. Go ahead, fire away. And then about 6 months down the road, she says to me, oh, my God, it's a miracle of God. And neither of us are religious. She says, a miracle of God, I'm pregnant. And I'm like, how can you get pregnant? You don't even ovulate. And then she said something to me that I'll never forget. And she said, well, either it's a miracle of God or you have very strong sperm. And I was like, yeah, 23, I've got strong sperm. Later, as I got to know her, I realized that I was a big, dumb, muscular idiot who fell for the oldest trick in the book. But out of that, I got a fantastic son who I love to death.
So she baby trapped you, kind of.
I think I didn't have any money at the time, so I know
Right.
it wasn't for the money. And like I'm a half breed, so I don't know if it was for the genetics. I don't know what happened. I don't know how that happened. I don't know why she'd do that. But yeah, the strong sperm line just, is that possible? You don't ovulate that? They could go up the fallopian tube.
Oh. Hey, FDG, thank you for the 50 gifted memberships. I think I spoke with her. She's going to actually be gifting 50 memberships every 30 minutes. So if you guys want to stay tuned and grab yourselves a membership. Wait, so okay, Teresa.
Do you have to say her name? Do you have to say her name?
Oh, we'll call her...
my son's mother, baby mama.
Okay, baby mama, yeah, baby mama. Sorry, it was in the book, so you know.
Baby mama.
I read the book, but did she ever try to collect child support from you, or?
Well, she did for 18 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because I had read in the book that she. You were younger. I think you were. Was it 23?
22. I was 22.
You were 22,
yeah.
and she was in her 30s.
She was 28.
Oh, okay.
29. Yeah, 6-7 years old.
Yeah, and it sounded like she was doing fairly, like she had a career, she was making her own money, you were living with her, and here you are, a young guy who it sounded like at the time you were kind of scraping by, and then for her to come after for child support seems...
Well, you know what, look, it's my responsibility, it's my
Sure.
son, as men, we need to take care. Regardless of who has more money, who does
Sure.
more, as a man or as a woman, you need to take care of your offspring. And it took me a while to learn that. When I first had him, I was playing football over in Italy, and I just got a call in the middle of the night. You have a son. I said, oh, is he healthy? Great. Click, and that was it. Then I got home, and she did the smartest thing. Because I got home from Italy, I'd gone out and I'd partied, and she called me, and it was 7 a.m, and I'd been up all night, and I said, oh God, I'm so hungover, don't come over, just, I'll see my son later, because he was 6 months old at the time. And then she actually brought him to my father's house and said, this is your son. And, when I held him for the first time, then it was such a, overwhelming experience to realize that I'd created life, and I decided at that moment, this is my boy. I have to take care of him. And, I have since then. Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Gotcha. Lori, what about you?
Dude, that was long. I forgot the question already.
Oh, yeah. So,
I'm a legendary talker. Whenever we do stuff
when I
together, she's
sit
like,
back,
Dan,
I'm
shut
just
up.
go.
Dan,
Just
shut up.
So the question was, what's your current relationship status? Are you single? You're in a relationship? Yeah.
I've been with my girlfriend about 13 years now.
13 years. Okay.
Longest is 14 years.
A different relationship.
A different relationship,
Okay.
exactly.
With a guy or a girl?
Girl. All my relationships with girls have been like, let's go, 7, 10, 13. Yeah. They're
Okay.
like, I'm called a lifer, I guess.
A lifer. Okay, there you go.
For lifer.
And so do you consider yourself bi? Are you lesbian?
I dated guys all through high school. And
Okay.
so all through high school dating guys, and then I was around 25, 26-ish. Met this one girl, admitted it to myself. I was like, holy shit, I'm gay. This girl's hot. I'm in love with her. And it just kind of like, it's really coming to terms with who you are, you know, especially if you're gay, lesbian, whatever it may be, bisexual. Love men. I love them. I just don't connect with you guys.
So it's just been women since then.
Yeah. I mean,
Oh, did I do that? I'm sorry. Bullshit. Did I do that?
All right, now the game is on. Yeah, I mean, relationship-wise, if we're talking relationships, yes, they've all been with women.
Okay.
Sex, a little different story, but, you know, yes.
Okay. So if you were to categorize yourself,
God, I hate
sort
categorizing
of bi,
myself.
kind of bi.
I'm
Maybe-
gay. I'm gay.
Okay.
I'm in with,
Yeah.
you know,
She's
a
a woman
little.
in her life.
There
Right?
you go.
Romantically, you're only interested in women, but for casual, a guy every once in a while is.
All right, we can go there. Yeah,
Yeah, why not?
absolutely. Why not? Yeah.
Okay.
I used to laugh and say I have my yearlies.
Okay.
Dan keeps wondering when he's going to be my yearly, which no.
So I guess the question here is, how long do you have to go as far as a time period without penis before you become
I don't think you
like
can answer that.
gay?
You can't answer that. No, it doesn't work that way.
Does it kind of just like
Mm.
happen?
It doesn't work that way. It's who you're attracted to in the moment. I always said that I had the best of both worlds because I'm attracted to both. But mentally, I'm attracted to women.
Sure.
You know, because I have that connection. But then sometimes they just talk too much. They have that guy mentality. You know, it's like I do. Sometimes it's just like,
Okay.
oh my God, shut up. You know,
Yeah.
but with me, it's interesting because, yeah, on one level, it's like my brain is like a guy's brain. It's like I can do a one and done, and a lot of girls can't. You know,
Very true.
but am I right?
Yeah, that's very, very true.
Wait, you can do a one and done with both a female and a male if that's who attracted you? Doesn't matter?
Absolutely.
Oh, wow, I can't do that.
Yeah, you can. You've done that your whole life. What are you talking about?
No.
Except your current relationships.
No, so this relationship has been 7
It's
to 8
different.
years. Before that, the relationship was 12 years. So as I get older, I get slower.
All right, so this is when I knew him during Gladiators. Let's go here then.
Okay. Wait, so you've done it with men and women too?
No.
Oh,
no,
okay.
no. Just
Whoa,
meaning
whoa.
he's
I
a one
don't
and
know.
done.
She
Whoa,
was just
whoa.
saying.
No. I'll go there with him. No.
Okay.
No, I'm saying when I knew him as a gladiator, definitely. Now, since he's in relationships, no. Obviously, he is the committed man.
I'm tamed. I'm
You
tamed.
are tamed.
I'm tamed.
Locked in.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Well, it's. I can't even explain it. I don't know what happens, you know, where you go from womanizing and getting a lot of self-satisfaction, but not only self-satisfaction, you get a sense of self-esteem. A lot of when I was younger, it was all about the girl that I was with. And if she was hot, you know, and the guys were like, bro, how did you get that? I felt good.
She was feeding your ego.
Yeah, well, she was in
Yeah,
the way
absolutely.
that your bros would respond. Dude, how did you go out with her? Oh my God, you're with that girl. And it really filled me up as a man. Like, hey, look at me. You know, I got this very attractive girl. And then it just didn't. It's, you know, I guess the thing is like, you know, a Ferrari. After you have a Ferrari for a long enough time, it just becomes a car. You know what I mean?
So are you
It's-
settling with your Ferrari? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, I have a Ferrari. Right? Kim's a Ferrari, you know, and and it's just, it seems like it's enough. Look, I always said I came to realize that as a young man, I was very easy for an attractive girl to get, but I was really hard to hold on to. And why was I hard to hold on to?
Because he was a whore.
No, it's because you may call it that way, but there was nothing of substance to me as a man. I was all smoke and mirrors. You know, it was muscles. It was, believe it or not, a lot of long hair, and it was flash. But the inner substance of who I was and what I believed in and what I stood for wasn't there. And so I was easy to get, but I was hard to hold on to.
But do you think that could have also possibly been that none of the women that you were involved with really caught your eye? I'm not speaking strictly physical appearance, but just maybe they weren't bringing something to the table when it came to their personality or...
What about commonality? Did you have things in common?
Absolutely.
I mean, did you look for that?
Look, I dated a lot of really fantastic women. I dated intelligent women, career women, you know, actresses, models. I dated tons of different women, and so many of them were fantastic. It didn't matter. It could have been the perfect girl, the perfect partner, but if you're not ready at that time, it doesn't work. Later, when you're ready, the less perfect person can come, and then you will grab onto that person because that's what you want in your life. So to answer your question directly, Brian, they were fantastic. They clicked all the boxes. It was just me. I was in Hollywood. I was young. Yeah, hey, look.
You're having the time of your life.
But if you look and you read my book Gladiator like you'll know that I was, I don't know what the word is, sexualized at a very young age. When I was 10 years old, I was living in Asia, and my dad owned a restaurant, and he had prostitutes in his restaurant. So I was a 10-year-old boy running around with prostitutes, you know, T-girls, Asian girls, chasing him, saying, hey, you know, can I pop your cherry? Hey, can I do this? And so I saw sex at a very young age in a different way. And my father was also a horrible womanizer. You know, so many different women cheating. And I thought that's just what you did. That was normal. Mm-hmm. So anybody who I met from 18 to 28 in that normal got to feel that wrath of what and who my father was expressed through me. Until you get to be a certain age, you know, men and women, do you usually start to find your own identity and say, this is who I am and this is how I want to be. And some people don't. But for me, it was a real awakening when I had, you know, a lot of different women. I had money, I had fame, but I, you know, was partying all the time and I wasn't happy.
What kind of made you realize that you weren't being as fulfilled just womanizing anymore? Was there any specific thing that kind of happened in your life that made you just feel unfulfilled?
You know, I know it's hard for people to understand, you know, to think like you can, you know, you have like beautiful girls and not be happy. You know what I mean? It's just like, what, dude, if I had those girls, if I had, you know, whoever it was, I would be happy. Are you kidding me? Yeah. But, and I feel like almost, you know, stupid for, you know, talking about this because, it's such a high-class problem. Oh, my God, poor guy. He's got hot chicks. But like I said earlier, it made me feel a certain way, getting a new girl and being with a new girl and having that conquest. It built a certain kind of happiness and esteem until it didn't. And then at the height of Gladiators, when, you know, I was partying a lot, I started to wake up in the mornings, high out of my mind, on the floor, spit dribbling out of my mouth, and I was just like crying.
Kind of just like, what are you doing?
Yes, yeah. How can this be? I've got everything, and yet, you know, it feels like nothing. And that was at the point, you know, I kind of, you know, Madysen, I raised my hand and I said, something's a little off here. I've got everything, and I'm not happy. And that happened a couple times, and I was just like, whoa, this is like really, really strange. And then the last time I was riding in my red Jeep going down Hollywood Boulevard, you know, having a great time, sun was shining, and I had this spontaneous, like, crying burst of tears. And here I am. I'm on TV. I'm 240 pounds. I'm this big, strong guy. I crush people for a living. Yeah. And, you know, I'm driving and crying for no reason. And that's when I raised my hand and said, look, something's wrong. I need to get help. And, you know, getting help, you know, therapy and asking someone for help, you know, especially back in my time was really, really, really hard to do. So it was a bunch of events that led up to that point where I said, oh, And that's when I said, maybe, like I said, maybe I'll try marriage. But I wasn't healed yet to be a good husband, to be a good partner.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Before we get into some more relationship stuff, I wanted to touch a little bit both on your backgrounds and also talk a little bit about Gladiator. How many seasons were you both in?
I did
on
what I did,
American Gladiators?
Seven, I believe.
To me, you are the female version of an American Gladiator. So to me, when I think American Gladiators, I think Ice and I think Zap.
Yeah.
So I feel like you were always there. The show ran for 8 years.
And I missed the first 13 episodes.
So you came in second season?
Yes.
Gotcha.
Well, kind of, yeah, it was. It was the second season, as a matter of fact.
Gotcha. And what about you? How many seasons were you in?
Similar to her, I left over a salary dispute, over a
Right.
merchandising dispute right around year 4. So I did the very first episode, and then I came back to the show for a year as Nitro, and then the last season I hosted the show.
Gotcha. I think you two grouped up for the whole, you went to Samuel Goldwyn or whatever.
The merchandising.
merchandising
Yeah, exactly.
thing. But were you only kicked off you got fired too, right? Or
Yeah, for one season.
Oh, one season.
One season.
Then you came back.
And then I came back, and he came back the same year as a host, though, as
Gotcha.
a co-host.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
I wanted to compete. I wanted to
Yeah,
still
yeah.
battle. I still wanted to kick ass.
And from what year? So I think the show started. It was in '89, was it?
Was it 89?
Was
or
the
90?
first year '89?
It was somewhere in there.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
86.
Yeah.
Long
something
time
like
ago.
that.
long
I
time
know.
ago. Hey,
Look.
I want you to know there were still cell phones then.
There were cell phones.
There
Yeah,
were
they
cell
were
phones.
big. They were big block
You know
ones.
what? Speaking.
I had a
Oh, like he's going to pull one
Toshiba.
out. Yep, that's it right there.
this-
That's the
is
one.
this
Was
what
that
we're
the
talking
one?
about?
So
one.
that was the one that was actually attached to your car.
I got it.
So this was
This
plugged
plugs in.
into your car.
Does
So
it actually still work?
You want to? No. Nah, I don't think so. Actually, it does turn on if you plug it in. I don't think you. You know what? Maybe if you. I don't know. It
I
might
don't know.
work.
It's still dating ourselves.
Yeah.
It's like we didn't have the cell phones. We didn't have the social media. We didn't have, all of that when it comes to the smartphones and
Right.
filming and.
Did you
doing-
kind of appreciate that a little more, though, now that you've...
It's interesting because of the fact that I think that if we had it, it would have been dangerous,
Very.
especially on tour, I would say.
Yeah. So we went on a tour across America.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We went and did 120 cities. So you packed up 10 gladiators, full of youth, vitality,
Mm-hmm.
vigor, horniness, testosterone. You put us on a bus and you said, you're going to go to Madysen Square Garden. You're going to go, to 120 cities across America. So we were like rock and roll stars, except for we would kick the shit out of you.
It was awesome.
Were you guys doing shows pretty much it sounded like from the documentary, almost every day?
We
every
were
night?
doing it every day. I mean, I think that in our contract we had to do it. We did like 4 days straight, and then they had to give us like 2 days off.
Right.
And it seemed like those 2 days off we were traveling, so it wasn't really like the 2 days off.
You're still kind of working. 'cause
Absolutely.
You're traveling. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. And so 120 cities. In the documentary for the tour, it sounded like you guys were compensated a little better than during the actual show. So you guys were getting paid, if my understanding, very little for the actual show. Is that?
Oh yeah. I mean, when I came on, my contract was for 21 shows, and I think that year I made a whopping 20 grand. I want to say something. Yeah, it was like something ridiculous. Even though we were in the union, but we were in the union at AFTRA before the two unions actually
They merged, yeah.
Exactly. So when I came in, my contract was on the bottom end of the AFTRA scale. So I think it was something like, to be honest with you, maybe $550 a show, something along those lines.
But I mean, back in the 90s, it was one of the biggest shows on TV. There wasn't do you guys know how many? It was like 10 million viewers.
I don't know.
Do you know how
I
much?
don't even know the numbers on it.
A shit ton.
It was a lot.
Yeah,
It
a
was a
shit
lot.
ton of viewers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many
Exactly.
viewers? And you look up in the ratings, it says shit
Shit
ton.
ton.
A lot. A lot. As far as when you got paid for the tour, it was you guys were getting paid. Was it 5,000 per week? I think that was maybe.
Dan was probably making more, but
Okay.
we
They're
were
different-
we were
they're-
making. Yes, he's laughing about this.
Okay.
But he was. Him and Jim and I were actually, because I think you guys actually created something to where it's, You two got more money than the most of us because you were like the captains of the team. And so you were keeping us together, correct?
We didn't create that. The guy who did the tour, who also did, the Ringo Starr tour and a bunch of other cool tours, David Fishoff, he came to the two of us who we thought were the most important people he had to have. Supply and demand, star power. He said, Nitro, Gemini, I want you guys. And he said, when I get you guys, everybody else will fall in. What's it going to take per week to do the deal? And, that's how it is. They fill your ego. They say, you're the most important. You're beautiful. You're going to be famous, that kind of thing. And, we fell for it, and we took the $5,000 a week, and I'm not sure what everybody else got paid.
No, I think we were around the same.
Okay.
We just thought he was getting like 8.
Okay.
No, that was the cash that I haven't reported yet.
Got it.
Oh, there we go.
And so the tour, do you guys know, did you hit pretty much every state almost? Maybe besides like Alaska or
Almost.
Hawaii?
I think almost we did. We didn't hit Hawaii, we didn't hit Alaska. I would say, 126 cities.
126 cities, including Madysen Square Garden, but not Alaska, not Hawaii. I was just looking there, and someone said Madysen. They said that you were still in your dad's, what?
When the show was going
on? When the show was on, but do they know?
He actually is my father, so.
Yeah, I don't know if the guys know that.
Confirm.
That's how we were able to book them.
Yeah, exactly.
This is actually
familial.
The daughter.
So I was.
And usually my mouth is much more free with the words I'm saying, but it's kind of awkward with you here right now, I have to say.
Yeah, it's
a little awkward.
Be free. It's okay.
No.
Okay.
So, on that note.
So I want to go back a little bit, background stuff here. So Dan, you played college football was it San Jose State, right?
Can I tell you why I picked San Jose State?
Yeah.
Two reasons. They had a great damn football team, but at that time we were voted in the top 10 party schools in America. It was like San Diego State, San Jose State. And I went up there to San Jose, which now is, Silicon Valley, much, much different than it was when I went up there. When I went up there, it was this old, beaten down town. And I came from Orange County, California. And when I went up there, it was nighttime. And I don't know if you guys know that, like when they recruit a football player, they take them on trips, they hook you up with cheerleaders, they walk you around campus. Everything I saw was at night. And I go, this is a great town. And I decided to go there. I got a scholarship. I went back up the first day there. I'm walking outside my dorm, and a homeless woman lifts her dress up and pees on in front of me. And I'm like, I remember running into the dorm, calling my dad. I said, Dad, a woman just peed on the street. I can't go to school here. But I ended up sticking it out, and it ended up being quite a party school. I joined a frat, Sigma Alpha Epsilon.
SIGEP, is that? Is it SIGEP or?
Sigma Alpha Epsilon.
Well, the shortened
version. They call it
version.
SIGEP now.
You guys are so trendy.
Yeah, come on.
You guys are shortening everything. LOL.
LOL.
Be right back, right? All these things that you guys do on your devices.
SIGEP. I think there's a SIGEP here at UCSB.
Sigma Alpha Epsilon.
Excuse me. Sigma. I think there's
it is
Sigma
worthy of saying the whole word.
I believe there's a Sigma Alpha Epsilon here at UCSB. So maybe knock on the door, be like, hey, what's up? I'm one of your. No, you can't do that.
I'm a bro. They would let me in.
Oh, they would.
Yeah,
you guys.
absolutely.
There's like a handshake, right? Do you still know the handshake?
Of course, I know the handshake.
Of course,
I know the sign. I can't tell you.
It's secret.
They cut your limbs
off. It's very
off.
secretive.
It's like that number 7 on your collar. I don't know what that means.
You don't know what it is.
Makes me want to punch you 7 times.
Oh fuck! Oh shit! Good time. Okay. Well, maybe this will be the show. People find out. So you played college football. You were in a fraternity. You graduated from San Jose, and then you became. Was this before college? You became a bouncer. Is that correct? At the nightclub.
Yes.
Okay, and that's where you met your
son's mother.
And
baby mama.
Teresa.
And when it comes to dating, it was your first. My understanding from the book, it was your first night working. Your very first night working. You met Teresa.
I met Teresa. It was an 18 and older bar.
Yeah.
Where they could come in, and I love your hat, by the way.
Thank you.
I love that hat. What does it represent?
It is actually a German soldier helmet.
From World War I.
Archduke
World
Franz
War
Ferdinand.
So it's.
Does Mom know you have that on?
When's the first time you put that hat on?
It's been a while. I think.
Does Mom know?
Do you wear it every
does not
show?
know. I do wear it every show.
It's kind of her calling
It's my
card.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's my little prop.
You want to wear it, don't you, Dan?
Well, no,
You know what? We have more than one if you'd like to wear
Join in
one.
on the fun.
If you'd like
Oh,
to
he's
wear one.
thinking
that's
about
kind
it.
of weird.
Father-daughter.
That's kind of weird.
Father-daughter
weird. Just-
action.
You remember, I never liked you calling me daddy.
Oh,
Call me
Oh,
dad.
Big
Call-
Daddy.
yeah.
Papa.
Father.
What about
Big
father?
Father's
Father,
fine, but don't
father.
call me daddy. That's weird.
Okay.
I don't think I've ever called my father daddy.
Yeah. So back to San Jose State.
And on that note,
And then
Yeah. No. So you were working at a nightclub as a bouncer, and that was before or after college?
It was right after college. I was
After
trying to get
college.
on with the football team. I was working at a bouncer, 18 and over bar. She walks in. She's 28, trying to fit in
Right.
with the 18-year-olds. That should tell you everything you need to know about her. And yeah, we hooked up.
Yep.
And then I got a beautiful son. It's a short version.
There you go. And then from there, you went to Italy to play in the Italian Football League, and that's American Football League in Italy, which I didn't even know was a thing until I read the book. And Nick, maybe if you want to pull up the Wikipedia just to give people a little context. But so you went to Italy and you played for just one season in Italy. Is that? Yo, FTG, thank you for the 50 gifted memberships. Yeah, we'll do a little salute there. Yeah, so it's the Italian Football League, and they play American football because I know, like, when you think of, I guess, Europe, you think of football, you think of soccer.
mm-hmm.
So I'm probably going to get a few Europeans upset for that one. But, and you played for one season in Italy, is that right?
Yeah, so they played American football in Italy. They've been doing it for quite a few years. They actually have a European league as well. And then the NFL had a league over there called the World Football League, what they tried out for. You know, for me, my son's mother was pregnant. I'm 22 years old. I don't want to have a kid. And the opportunity comes up on a Tuesday from a buddy of mine, Bobby Frasco, who played football at San Jose State with me. He says, hey, I can get you a job over in Italy, 3 Americans per team. Do you want to come play American football? And I was like, yeah. And I left on Saturday. And it was a fantastic experience. There's a great John Grisham book called Playing for Pizza, which doesn't chronicle my journey, but it chronicles an American football player's journey in Italy. And look, you practice 2 days a week. You had games on Saturdays, and you're pounding pasta. But the interesting thing about Italy, they have a very, very no, it's really weird.
I know where it's going.
They have a very strong transsexual. Not strong, not like they lift, not like but it's a large transsexual population which act as sex workers and models that are in Italy. I just thought I would share that with you in case you ever go to Italy, Brian, and you're lonely.
Not really my thing, but
You don't know until you try it.
I don't know if there will be a try. But I appreciate you looking out for me. But so did you encounter? Did you participate? Did you participate? Was there?
I encountered. So the way that clubs work, I was right outside of Milan, which was the model capital of the world, the fashion capital of the world, Giorgio Armani, and the clubs are these huge warehouses, and they just go on and they rage, and it's like a party. And the first night I'm there, I look over and I see this fantastic looking woman, and she's like 5'10", and she's walking around in a bra. And what are they? Garters and bustier and high heels, walking around the club like this. And I look at my guys, Italian guys, go, oh, that girl. I mean, she's amazing. They're like, no, that's not a girl. And I'm like, what?
Oh.
Are you kidding me? And her name was Paola, not Paul, but Paola. And she was actually a famous fashion model. She was on the cover of the magazines. It was something that, back there in Italy they're very comfortable with it. It wasn't, it wasn't controversial, right? They put them on. They put her. I guess I get so confused on magazine covers, and I ended up, becoming friendly with her, and it was interesting.
How friendly?
When you say
How friendly?
what are we talking about here?
Come on, Dan, give it up.
No, I never tested the waters.
Come on.
Okay.
But
Not even a
let's
kiss?
say I saw the goods, but I never tested the waters. And I can tell you for a fact, at least from my singular observation, because she would walk around in this garter like with no panties on. And, I think one day, one of the guys said, hey, let me see what it looks like. And she didn't care. She did. And it looked normal.
It looked normal?
Really?
It looked normal. No, because they had the operation.
Okay.
It
okay,
looked
so
normal.
she got the goods removed and got the replacements.
Yeah. Okay. Look, everyone has a right to be who they want to be. Right. And she was, I guess, before her time, and that's what she wanted to do, hey,
sure.
It's her life, and, or his life.
I've never seen the post-op look.
I've only seen it once.
One time in Italy, and it looked, you say,
and it was dark.
Convincing.
It was a nightclub, and it was just like,
right.
I felt like a gynecologist.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It wasn't a sexual adventure like, hey, baby. It was just like, oh, let me see. Let me put my little light on here, Professor. Okay.
You were curious, right? You were
I
curious.
Was curious.
Yeah.
Curiosity killed the cat, and I was like, no, okay. No, it's all good. Thank you, Paula. And, I moved on.
There you have it. There you have it.
Interesting.
So you were in Italy. They have a crazy fascination with, that's new to me. Why I did see it in the book.
I don't think they have a clitoris.
I don't think so.
No, I saw someone in the chat say giant clitoris. I don't think they have a clitoris.
There is another story in the book, though, about that, which we will get into. So you were in Italy.
Can you ask her something?
Yes. No, I'm reading the comments right now. I'm laughing my ass off.
Asking for a friend.
And I'm wondering how we went from like football in Italy to
it's a
no
chapter.
clitoris.
It's a chapter in his book. So one last thing with Italy. So with the Italian Football League, they have their own version of the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I'm sweating here. I don't know how you backed me into that corner. What?
So you won the Italian Super Bowl with your football team. That's right?
Yeah. It was. We had such a funny name. It was the Busto Sizio was the city that we played for. It was right outside of Milan, and our name was the Frogs. The Busto Sizio Frogs.
The Frogs.
Die.
Okay.
But you know what? It was such a great adventure. To be 23 years old, to live in Italy, to get paid, to see the country. It was such what an amazing country. What an amazing experience.
What year was that? Was that 90?
It was a long time ago.
It was 80s, right?
My dude, long time ago.
It was long
I don't want to
time
date.
ago.
I don't want to date
Long.
anything. So, did you think about doing multiple years there, like continuing on, or was it like just a 1 year off or sort of thing?
Well, so if you played in the NFL, they made a new rule. You could not play in Italy. So I went and played in the NFL for the Rams briefly. Then I could not go back and play.
Okay, I see. Yeah, so pretty much as soon as you finished up in Italy, you went and played for the LA Rams in the NFL.
Yes, sir.
Got it. Okay, so I've asked you a bunch of questions. We have Vice here. We have Lori. So I do want to come back to, let's maybe bring it back to dating for a little bit. So you mentioned generally, like you're almost exclusively romantically you date women, right? So I'm curious, like, what's your type when it comes to the ladies?
Good question. Someone who's hot, who's got a great personality.
Okay.
Somebody I connect with.
Got it. Do you like tall women, short women, petite women, muscular women?
Oh, well, now you're really backing me in a corner.
Okay.
I'm not really into muscular women. Not at all. I like girls.
Okay.
I don't like masculine women.
Gotcha.
There's a lot of, gay lesbian women out there that if they're feminine themselves, they like that real hardcore kind of dykey girl. Not into that. Not whatsoever.
Okay.
Not my type. It's interesting. I've always been super attracted to blondes, but I've always wound up with brunettes.
Interesting.
I don't know how that happens.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I can't really say I have a type, but I don't know. I guess I kind of do in a way, don't I? You've seen all the girls.
I think
I've
all the
been
girls
with.
from the last few years I've seen you with, they're always very, very attractive. And sometimes I thought that I was going to be dating a girl, only to find out this one is dating her.
Oh, are you talking? Oh, wait. Okay, I was thinking there's a Chicago.
That wasn't
situation.
the
That's what
only.
he's. That's
Okay,
yeah.
we'll get to that.
That wasn't the only
but,
time.
Oh,
So the joke is, who slept with the most people the most girls on Gladiators, and everyone looks to me, but it is definitely not me.
I feel like you have game, Lori.
I do have game.
You've got game. I get that impression from you. So,
I like how Madison's nodding her head, looking at me.
oh, okay.
Madison,
A little romance here.
my daughter, are you
Watch out.
interested?
No.
Watch out,
I'm in a
Frankie.
relationship.
Watch out, Frankie.
Just
she's,
too
she's
young.
coming for you.
Just too young.
Did you have an interest in any of the other gladiators? Was there ever inter-gladiator romance?
It's interesting because I was never attracted to any of the gladiators.
Right, because you
whatsoever.
said you're not really into like muscular.
Yeah,
or
the
masculine.
one
Yeah.
thing though is before I was on the show, I always thought that Ray Hollett was hot. I mean, she was.
Which
I
is
mean,
Zap?
back in the day.
That's
Yeah,
Zap,
Zap.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
She was hot. But then obviously I got to know her, and it wasn't the attraction went away. It was more of she's now my gladiator sister, and I didn't look at her that way whatsoever. But before I was on the show, I did look at her that way just a tad.
Okay.
But it's interesting because the game comes from the chase as well, and it's like when we were on tour, and it's kind of like, Dan's like, how do you know when they're gay? It's just that look, it's the look that the girl gives you that you can feel it and you just know,
Okay.
and so it's kind of a fun thing. It really is. The guys are going just, they just go all balls out for the girl. Boom. There is no game. I don't think so anyway.
No game?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Do you have game?
Now,
I don't know.
I don't think I have game anymore.
You don't
It's
need
gone?
game anymore.
No, he
No,
didn't.
it was there, but it's gone.
Look at him. He's like, it's.
You know what?
It's just
I just don't think I have that. I have that need to be seen, by other women. I feel pretty
Bullshit.
I feel pretty darn good about myself.
Bullshit.
You know what I mean? I don't need that. Oh, is that girl checking me out? Oh, is this girl checking me out? And I just don't need it.
Well,
It's
You
nice.
don't
Yeah,
need it
it's nice.
anymore.
That's what I'm saying.
You
Of
had to have
course.
had it back then.
He
though,
did.
because
He had it. But it was more his looks, to be quite
Yeah.
honest with you.
You
you're
had-
saying you
Dan
were
was-
getting the most attractive
Dan
woman
was
out
handsome.
Can we get Nick?
No
Can you pull up
shit.
some Google image search of Dan,
Dan and
in
all of his
Gladiator?
ex-girlfriends.
Maybe also we have a video from Ice here, but well, you also have. I mean, you've been in you said 7-year relationship, so
I don't want to have game.
He
You got to
doesn't
shut
need
it
game
off.
anymore.
You got to shut it off.
He does have to shut it off.
It's something that.
well, maybe game for other women, right? But
Yeah, but you know what it is? Like for me, I've learned that if I want to be committed, I got to shut it off.
Very true.
All of a sudden I look, every woman is like my sister now. I just like, no. And I, for me, I have a very strong drive in everything. So I have to put blinders on, and walk and focus. And I can't even start to entertain that. When Muscles of Mayhem came out in Netflix, Ice and Lori and I were talking about how our DMs blew up. People, I wasn't quite getting the DMs Lori was getting. I'll let her talk about that, but they blew up. And I just could not let myself go down that because it's too easy to stray. Especially today. It's just too easy. And I can't do it.
social media, yeah.
Yeah, I can't do it.
Yeah.
So Lori had the DMs.
Well, I
Lori
think you
Dan
both-
had the DMs
Lori had
too.
the game.
Dan had the DMs.
Tell
too.
us about your DMs, Lori.
Yeah, and just some context if anybody's like just tuning in. The Netflix documentary came out. I think it was #1 on Netflix for at least I saw that as number 1 on Netflix for a couple weeks or something.
I think it went 3 weeks.
The documentary was fantastic. I thought it was great. And so, but I imagine, as you guys just mentioned, there's some DMs. You guys were getting some DMs from.
But it's interesting because this is what we were talking about before. Right when Netflix, when that hit, all of our DMs were just like going crazy on all the social medias. And see, we didn't experience the social media back then, but now we're experiencing it now, which is a whole different ball game because it's like there's hundreds, just boom, every day just popping off. But we noticed something. As the weeks went by, they started dropping off. So it went from like, hundreds a day down to 50, down to 20, down to 5. It's like, really? That's how quickly this social media makes everything turn and burn.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's
quick.
Fast.
It's
to where
quick.
if we were back in the day and we're, not aging ourselves, but if there was no social media, we would still be on Netflix, probably number one. We would still be like super big out there. But now, it's like next.
Well,
Yeah.
so
Next.
That's a really good point. Like, I think people's attention spans
Oh,
are very
it's like
short.
that big.
They're looking for the new
Yeah.
thing. Back, I think, before social media, there's a bit more longevity to
Absolutely.
certain things.
Well, it's not only social media, it's Netflix drops their whole season at one time.
Right.
So,
yeah.
and when talking to them when this was coming to be released, they don't do their marketing until like 2 weeks before, because when you see something, Netflix consumers, they demand to see the show right after they see it. So the window has gone from our show, which was on for 26 weeks, where you get 26 weeks of that push, where now it's literally you get a weekend. It's like Mission Impossible, right?
Yeah.
The newest one. Yeah, Mission Impossible, it's great. Then Barbie came out. Mission who? 1 week later.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
So quick.
So it's
super quick.
Yeah, so it's a different cycle. What Netflix started to do for some of your favorite shows, like Love is Blind, which I love that show for some reason. Love is an experiment, but Love is Blind is they'll save the last episode. So you can't sign up for 30 days and then drop. They'll make that last episode come
So
out
you come
6
back.
weeks after. And they found out that people will have a tendency to stay on Netflix if they stay longer than 30 days for that second month. And yes, there's a documentary, Muscles and Mayhem, Netflix.
Nick, were you able to pull up we had some photos here. All right, this is Dan, Nitro Clark. We got some, scroll down just a bit.
Oh, keep going.
I like the shirtless one. Go back up, other way.
Is it?
Middle. There you go.
Oh, no, you look old there. Go down, right there, right next to it on the left.
There's one where you're kind of like hugging, scroll down.
That's
Oh,
Thunder.
that's the group. Actually, pull up some of the group ones, the group photos.
Oh, I'm kissing Billy right there.
That is so damn cute.
The black and white one.
Scroll
Yeah.
down, Nick. Some of the group ones, maybe pull up. Okay. Now, would you consider what you had hairstyle-wise, is it a mullet? Was it a mullet?
Now it's a mullet.
Now it's a mullet.
Now it's a mullet. Now, it happens.
It looked good.
That's funny.
Yeah,
it
no,
looked good.
It was just called long hair.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure what the...
No, I think a mullet's like when it's short here.
It is. It's short on the
long.
side and it's long. It's
Long
the
in
Joe
the
Dirt
middle.
haircut.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
who's the
mullet.
country
Okay.
comedian right now? He's got a mullet. He's really
Theo Vaughn.
Theo Vaughn.
Vaughn.
Yeah,
Yes,
Theo
he's
Vaughn
got
has
a
got a
mullet.
mullet.
Okay.
And he's very funny.
You had the flow. You just had the flow.
Yeah, I had the you guys don't know who Fabio is, right?
Yeah, I know.
Oh.
I know Fabio.
You do?
So
I
Fabio
heard
made
it.
it. He
Fabio,
made
yes.
it to the next generation. Thank
Yeah.
God. Something is sacred. You guys remember Fabio?
Yeah. Nick, we have a video that we can watch really quick from, I think it's the American Gladiator YouTube. Well, just a short piece of it. Start from the beginning.
Damn, look at those abs.
So this is Ice on the show, and we'll just play a little 30-second portion of it. Can you boost the audio a little bit?
I've got
Oh,
ice.
no, that's fine. So did you actually carve that ice?
Oh, no.
Not
Not at all.
What was your guys's...
Just seems to have an attitude.
We'll pause it there. What was your guys'
I'm
favorite
cool.
event?
Mine
from-
was definitely Powerball. All those tackles that you saw,
Powerball.
that
Okay.
was Powerball.
Got
that
it.
was amazing.
You know, I just love being on camera. Truth
Just
be
tell us your
told,
favorite
whatever.
event.
I
damn it.
love being on camera.
Which one?
The events, my favorite, the least a favorite was this event. You can look it up on YouTube. Was Hang Tough.
Was
You
that
didn't
with
like
the
that?
rings?
Oh,
Was
I
that with the...
No,
love
not Hang
that.
Tough.
Human Cannonball.
Human
Human
Cannonball.
Cannonball.
Okay. See, I got hit in the head too many times. I can't
Yeah.
remember. Human Cannonball was this crazy event. It was like, hey, I'm gonna go stand in the street. Hit me with your car. That's what it was like. Because we got
Seriously.
the crap knot. Why don't you explain what?
Oh,
that
is
was?
that when you're up on a pedestal and then the
And
contender
they swing
swings
down. And basically, by the time they swing
yeah.
down and hit you, they're 10 times their body weight. And they gave us this little tiny pad about 3 inches thick, maybe a couple feet wide in width,
Yeah.
to deflect. Stupidest game in the world. I mean, it was like insane.
That's
I'm not
crazy.
Yeah, that's how Malibu got injured really bad, right? Because the guy kind of like kicked him or whatever.
kind of, sort of.
Kind of, sort of. Oh, is there a backstory on that?
The boo. The boo. You know what? You should find that clip. That clip is immortal.
It is funny.
The one of Malibu getting knocked out. And
Yeah,
And his hair
Nick,
just
if you
kinda
can just on YouTube search Malibu, and I think he knocked out will probably be the search term.
Yeah, that is like the iconic clip, I think, of that generation of
Yeah.
American Gladiators that most people remember. And I think if you watch it right away, I'll take you like, oh, it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
They wore
Yeah.
spandex. They were oiled up. You know, they got muscles.
Muscles.
Doing this like consistently as like your job, obviously over a span of years, like did you ever get like super like tired and exhausted, or did the adrenaline kind of just keep you alive?
For me personally, the adrenaline kept me alive. And yes, we had to battle some injuries. Some gladiators got hurt worse than others. I was just kind of like the gladiator that went, look, I get paid the same win or lose, even though I want to win constantly because that's in my veins. That's who I
Yes.
am. But if I felt like I was going to like be in a compromising position, I'd be like, go ahead. I didn't want to tear an ACL. I didn't want to do that because basically we were, you get hurt, you're out, you don't get paid. You're done. And we knew that. Like shit like that.
Interesting.
She's like, really? Seriously?
Yeah, what?
Seriously. So
yeah, well,
that's,
that's what happened with. Well, I think quite a few gladiators got
oh yeah,
injured.
they were out, and that's why we went through so many
Yeah.
gladiators.
Nick, do you have the clip?
I'm trying to find a good video for it. Did Malibu got knocked down there?
Yeah, if you search like the key term American Gladiator Malibu
Gets knocked out.
Gets knocked out. You should, if it's on YouTube, you should be able to find it.
So I think there's this rumor they thought you're her dad.
No,
Oh no,
We think so.
There's a
wait,
rumor
yeah,
that
Nick, audio.
we're siblings actually.
Self. Brian Hudson's third and final attempt.
Oh yeah, that's it.
I liked Malibu in the documentary. I was kind of a little bummed to learn that he only had one season.
I actually interview him tomorrow
Oh, nice.
on my podcast.
Oh, awesome.
Malibu tries to deflect this blow by Brian Hudson, but catches it right flat on the chest.
Well, the
Hair
interview's the
and
best
everything
after.
gone
Oh, there's an
flying off
interview,
the
okay.
pedestal.
Yeah, find the
Wait.
interview after it because he talks about catching waves, dude. It was so iconic of the time. Yeah, it was just, what happened, bro? And he's like, dude, I was just catching some rays. I was drinking some brews, and he flips his
I had some
hair. Then,
bibs.
yeah, next thing I knew, the lights were out. Look, it was just, it was iconic for the time period.
And he was playing his character. I mean, he really played up to his character.
Sweet.
Well, that's
You got the end of it.
that was the end of it. Producer Nick, by the way.
What a line of a man.
Hey, Malibu, after you got drilled by that human cannonball,
love the sunglasses.
I thought, hey, there is no way this guy is going to live to play
Can you put us on the
another
other
day.
s-
You're
wait,
alive,
pause
you're
it,
well.
Nick. Nick,
What happened?
pause it.
Did you go to the hot?
Can you put us on the other side? Yeah. No, do you know how to?
Yeah, drag it over.
No. There's two sources.
Oh, right.
You can do it. Just. No, I think it's the top one. There you go. Okay.
Hospital? Did you get X-rays?
Well, dude, it's like this. I saw this guy coming, and I took the most excellent hit of my life. The next thing I knew, I was on the beach, taking in some cosmic rays, getting healed by Mother Nature, taking a little brewski, holding on to a beautiful babe, and I'm fine today.
So no hospital, no doctors, just Mother Nature, huh?
Oh, I'm a child of Mother Nature. What do you expect?
Malibu, you are truly amazing. He took a licking, and he is still ticking.
Look at that hair.
Brushed off the shoulder.
And that was that 89?
89,
89.
1989. I think most people on your who've watched your show, and most of the panel
Yeah.
weren't even born then. It's like a time capsule. You go back in time, and that's what you would see.
Hey, wait a minute. Don't we still have? Isn't there a channel on Pluto still? The American Gladiator channel?
No,
Is it
you
still
know,
there?
American Gladiators. Okay, that YouTube, they have a channel where you can go see.
There's a lot.
Yeah, but
There's a
also
lot.
Vice actually just started running old episodes of American Gladiators. Someone told me.
I want to know who's taking it over. Do you know that yet?
No, I don't know.
The intellectual
yes, you do.
property.
The IP is
Are you
owned by
talking
MGM.
Okay.
No,
Metro
talking about the
Goldwyn
reboot.
Oh, there's a reboot.
Possibly. I've heard there is.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like, but the show kind of, I think, came into its own in the early 90s. Like, because the first season was 89, I think. And then, I don't know. I feel like 90s is kind of like peak
Dude.
civilization.
Well, I think it's when Aton and who else came in as producers?
Well, Aton was a guy who came in, but
Yeah, they just-
Bob Levy.
Bob
Levy.
The little dude. Okay, on the Muscle Man, do you see the little jumping little penises that he had on his desk? Bob Levy.
Wait,
he looked like a little short
I
troll
heard about
man.
that
Yeah,
on
yeah.
the documentary.
On the documentary,
Yes.
yeah, exactly.
So Bob Levy was a director that we brought in who was a sports director, I think for the second season. Him along with Aton Keller kind of took the show out of the dark ages, which you saw, to what, it was known as, a bigger spectacle of a show. But Bob Levy, he was a freak.
He was a complete porn star freak.
Yeah. Sometimes, it takes, freak to be genius to create something like that. And he was just a guy who lived in the Hollywood Hills. He's a great dude, but he's like 5'3", and he had these glasses. And you would think he would be a librarian, but that dude could party. He had this house up on Mulholland Boulevard, and it was legendary. Porn stars, people skinny dipping, and if you went to one of his parties, you came out changed.
I heard that on the documentary, actually. Like, they were like, the cops showed up 4 different times. Like, they were just going in on that, saying how he threw the craziest parties ever.
Madysen,
Yes.
you came out changed.
How did you?
What does
What
that
was your
mean?
experience?
What does that
Did
mean?
you go in?
What does that mean?
What
How
does
did you
that
come
mean,
back
Dan?
out changed? What was your personal experience?
Well, I came from that life, but one of our good friends, Gladiator, Jim Califat Laser, he's a country boy from Montana. He had never seen anything like that. And he went to the party at Bob Levy's house just once. Just once. And it changed him. I mean, he was no longer the same man. It's... I don't even know how to explain it. He just changed.
In a good way?
Would you say it was a good
How
way?
so? Did
I don't
it
even know what you're
change?
talking about right now. So I don't
even
know.
know?
I don't even know. I have no
Oh
idea
my
what you're
God,
talking
yeah.
about.
He
What do you
was
mean change?
Jim was he just changed. I mean, you saw
Like
the
how?
world. You see the world in a different way.
Through porn star eyes? What?
Well, through eyes of realizing what was out there if you lived a sheltered life.
That makes sense.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you grew up, and you were very sheltered, and yes, ma'am, thank you, sir. Yeah, that Brian's coughing. He must have been sheltered.
Country
Yeah,
boy from
exactly.
Montana to that? I see it.
And then all of a sudden, you just, like you go to the PlayBoy Mansion. You're like, oh my God, this goes on in the world?
Ooh, that's
You
cool
see
though.
things you've never
Have you
seen
ever been
before.
there? Have you
No.
ever?
Never
okay.
been. No.
I remember the first time I was at the PlayBoy Mansion and the girls were painted. I didn't realize they were painted. I mean, they were just naked walking around, and I was just like, holy shit. When you realize that, it's like,
Oh, they painted to look like they had
clothes
clothes
on.
on. Oh,
Exactly,
okay.
but they're completely naked. It was just the most amazing thing you'd ever seen.
wow.
Yeah, it
I didn't
was
know
just,
they did that there.
Oh, it was cool. It was a lot of fun.
Would you guys go together? Would like a group of gladiators go to the PlayBoy Mansion, or?
I never went with any gladiators.
Oh, just like
I was
so-
invited.
okay.
I was invited a couple times through other people, different producers or directors or things like that. Went into Hef's theater. I mean, sat down, watched old movies. That was just, just knowing that you were at this PlayBoy Mansion with all these beautiful people walking around. It was just unbelievable.
The
His
ambiance.
backyard with all the, oh my God, his animals, just insane.
Animals?
So, yeah, he had a bunch of them.
Oh,
I want to bring
interesting.
it back to the tour that you guys were on. So, and you guys mentioned groupies. You guys had some groupies. Did they join Did they join you guys on tour at all? Or was this just like
probably groupies.
in each new city you're in, there's some girls that,
You were the king.
No, you
You were the king.
No. We had fun. I don't think we had groupies that would follow us.
Okay.
And now, possibly, if we were like from an hour to 2 hours from the next city, then yes.
Got it.
But to actually follow the bus and, around 126 cities, no, we didn't have that. But yes, there was like, they were at the shows. I don't want to say they're groupies. I don't know.
Well,
Did you have groupies?
I think the idea is that when you're on TV and you're traveling around the country in a bus, what is the availability of sex from people that you could be interested in?
100% available.
Yeah, but like look, we were talking about the PlayBoy Mansion earlier. I don't think it even exists. Does it even exist now?
I think
it's
sold
a
it.
shadow of its former self.
And I think they sold it.
Did they?
After
I
Hep died.
never went.
Yeah.
I was invited a lot, but I'm like, why do I want to go there?
But you didn't go there, but you dated some Playboy bunnies, right? Or was it the porn stars? I'm trying to find
what's the
one
list
was
of
it?
words you can't say.
You can't say these two
No,
words. Look, he wrote down the words.
Okay, well, I'm not going to say. But, it was, you run in those circles. So there was a place called the Hollywood Tropicana, which is off Sunset Boulevard, and it was where they had mud wrestling. Perfectly legitimate, fun mud wrestling. I don't know if that's a thing still, but where you get girls in bikinis and they would wrestle. And a lot of the girls, no, it's not a thing anymore?
I think it's outdated.
It's dated. Okay, so you had mud wrestle.
I don't think they do that anymore.
No, they don't.
But they
Now,
did.
now you have mud runs.
There you go.
Now you have mud
Yeah,
runs,
mud
right?
runs, yeah.
Now you have mud runs. But there was a thing called mud wrestling. If you watch
Yeah.
like a comedy from the 80s or 90s.
I've heard of it. Certainly, I've heard it's a thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a thing, and this place had most attractive girls. Some were bunnies, some worked in the porn industry, and if you were in the industry, if you were on TV or an athlete, a lot of professional athletes go. That's where you would go meet a lot of these girls. But I never went to the Playboy Mansion. I was asked quite a few times. I just thought like those girls are there looking, in my opinion, looking for a sugar daddy, and I just wanted someone who liked me. You know what I mean? Which I don't know if anybody ever did.
On the tour, just bringing it back to the groupies, so you were in 120 cities. Confirm or deny? A new girl in every city?
Oh, God, no.
No. Okay, not every
Only
city.
half for Lori.
Okay. 70, maybe 70 cities.
I can honestly say, I can look back and I can count on one hand how many girls I was with on that tour.
Oh, okay.
That must be nice. I can't remember anything.
You can't really?
No, I don't remember anything.
I can't remember all of them, but
Sure. Sure.
I wasn't. It wasn't like that. Okay,
Okay.
maybe 2 hands. I'm kidding.
2 hands. Okay. I mean, I imagine, because looking at the documentary, you guys were constantly traveling, which must be tiring. And not only traveling, but you were doing, you said, 4 shows a week. I mean, I almost feel like you'd just be so tired.
You're not
like
that tired.
you're just
You're
You're
not-
not
you're
that
not
tired. You're
Not
never
that
that
That's what I was
tired.
asking earlier. They
You're
said
never that
the
tired.
the
Okay.
adrenaline keeps you alive.
We were doing
Yeah.
6 shows a week. I mean, it was like
6,
Madison
okay.
Square Garden on Friday night, get on the bus, go to Long Island, do a show, get on the bus the next night, go to Philadelphia, do a show, take maybe Monday and Tuesday off most, then go to the next city and do another show. But man, you know what? You're in front of 15,000 screaming people. How can you not get pumped up? How can you not get excited for that?
Yeah, that's true.
Knowing that some little kid with his parents may be saved up to come and see you. How could you not feel the responsibility to go out and give a good show and deliver?
Well,
night after night.
Yeah. What was the largest audience that you guys ever had? Was
Madison
it at
Square Gardens.
MSG? Was it 20,000, 15,000? Like how many?
Whatever
What's it
Madison,
hold?
whatever
I don't know what
Madison
it
Square
holds.
Garden
What's
holds.
it? What's
Yeah.
it hold?
Yeah.
Yeah. Here,
Yeah.
I'll look it
But
up.
we sold it out.
MSG seats 19,500 capacity. So
Yeah, we
pretty
sold
much
it out.
20,000. Wow.
Yeah,
That was the
That's
only
wild.
night I think that we fought over who was going to do the events. You know, because everybody wanted to be out in front of that crowd.
Yeah.
I was
Like
gonna
nobody. I
ask
don't
too,
personally like to do the joust whatsoever.
Did you guys ever feel like competitive with each other in
Oh
a
God,
way?
yes, I think
Yeah.
so. Especially the girls. I don't know about the guys, but the girls we were competitive in a different way than the guys, I think. But that particular night, again, I hate doing the joust, but we were fighting over who was going to do the joust because you were center stage in
Yeah.
front of 19,500 people.
Wow.
And just the roar of the crowd, you can't even put that in words what you feel like when you hear that.
That's got to be like this glorious feeling, just like they're all cheering for you. That's awesome.
My girlfriend called it like she watched the documentary, and when she goes, when I saw you running around and you're just like going like this the whole
Fist
time, she goes,
bumping.
it was almost like the ego-gasm,
Yeah.
because it was just
I love that word.
it was just an incredible feeling. It was like I was in my element. And when you're in your element, you're performing at your best 100%, then life is good. Life is very good.
Egogasm.
Yes.
I love that.
Egogasm.
That's such a great word. I've never
Ego.
heard.
Yeah, I've
Yeah,
never
I made
had
that
good.
up.
It's good though.
That's my
love
makeup
that.
word.
I like that. I'm going to get a shirt.
There you go.
Egogasm.
There
go
we
to the
go.
garden, sell it out. It's,
Let me make it first, and I'll sell it to you.
You're going to finally get a piece of merch.
Exactly.
It's interesting, because the show was on quite a long time ago.
Yeah.
And when I hear so many people say, oh, God, must have been really tough being famous. And I'm like, what are you talking about? The burden of fame. It was such a privilege to be famous. It was such a privilege for people to want your time and attention, to want you to shine your light on them. It was a privilege, to go to a great restaurant and, oh, hey, you're that guy. Come on in. We have a seat for you. For me, it was always such a privilege to have that spotlight for, a brief moment in time back then. And again, it was such a privilege when Muscles and Mayhem came back out on Netflix a month ago, to have everything just blow up, to go on, with all these different talk shows and TV shows and podcasts here with you, the Whatever podcast, 5 million subscribers, right? So, I mean, to me, it's such an honor that people are interested in your story, and that maybe you can take some of your life, experiences and share it with people, and that they want to hear it. I think where fame gets you in trouble is when you start to only search for the fame, right? When you look at fame and you take it as adoration. I mean, you take the adoration and applause and you mistake it maybe for love. You know what I mean? Oh, they're clapping for me. Oh, they adore me. Oh, they love me. And when you use that and it fills you in that way, when it goes away, it's a hard time. That's when it gets hard.
Nowadays, I think that since everybody seems to be famous, I mean, let's think of it seriously. It's like our social media now, it's like you can have a one hit and go viral, and all of a sudden now you're famous.
I was gonna
But what are you
say,
famous really for?
Right.
That's very true.
Not really.
A lot of people get famous for doing absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, and I feel like it was such a privilege for you guys to be famous at that time because, again, social media wasn't really a thing.
Right, you kind of had to work hard.
Yeah,
you had to work
exactly.
hard to get, to become famous.
Yeah.
Now you don't have to really work hard to become famous. You just got to have a really good idea and maybe a really good video that you edit the shit out of that comes out amazing.
It's way more accessible, and I think that's actually kind of like I think there's less star power today than there used to be. Like if you think of like A-list celebrities, I feel like if you go back 20 years ago, you had Brad Pitt, Leonardo DiCaprio. Like I don't think coming along there's anybody that really strikes me as like, or Tom Cruise. Even in the music industry, like I feel like people music industry is a little different, but you had these massive stars, and I feel like it's just more spread thin. Like
we can look in J-Lo's closet now. So
Right,
there's no secrets. There's no.
Yeah, there's not a mystery.
Yeah, exactly. Because
Yeah.
being in LA, we could go to a restaurant and a celebrity walks in there. Everybody's like, oh my God, and everybody would like, okay, don't go ask them for their autograph. They're eating dinner,
Yeah.
be respectful. That's kind of gone.
Yeah. And I think when it came to fame and celebrity, it was kind of being gate kept by institutions. So you had, the movie studios, production, now you can be an individual and gather not influence, but you can become famous on an individual level without needing like a production around you.
100%.
You need your phone.
Well,
and
you said it perfectly, Brian. The gatekeepers are gone.
Yeah.
Right. And that's both beautiful and it's terrible at the same time.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So anybody can
Double-edged
come on
sword.
for anything.
Yes.
The barrier to entry to the media
Yeah,
business,
exactly.
to be an influencer, to be in front, makes it more accessible to every man, every woman, every person. Which is great, but I think what you said is right on. The idea of movie star is dead, right? Like, who is the young movie stars that people right now are flocking to go see? Like, oh my God, before a movie was opening and there was a certain person in it, you were like, oh, he's in this movie, I got to see it. And now I think what Lori said is so true. That the old saying is never meet your heroes, because you start to meet your heroes and then you meet Will Smith, and people, they become more human and you see them for their flaws and you lose that
Fantasy's gone.
the idolization of heroes. And I don't know what you guys think, if that's good or bad. Maybe there is no judgment, maybe it just is, and we have to deal with it.
I think it's kind of bad in the way that no famous person has privacy these days. Like, everyone on social media will spectate every single thing you do. Like, this, I guess,
Nick,
model
it's muted.
influencer Kylie Jenner, she hid her pregnancy for so long, and her fans were the one who figured out she was pregnant and put it out to the world before she even announced it. Like, you just don't really get privacy nowadays.
Well,
and I feel like it's a curse.
you're talking about the Kardashians.
And they're putting everything out every
that's
5
true.
minutes of the
They've
day.
But
made
people
their
were
choice.
People
right?
were,
Yeah.
that's true.
They
It
made
just,
their choice to document everything, to let people in, and they've built a huge empire out of it.
I was watching like an interview, and she said that she hid her pregnancy just so like people wouldn't kind of hover her
They're
all
on
the
a
time
different
about
level,
it.
though, with
They're
They
on a
are on
kind
a
of-
different
yeah.
level, but they
Yeah.
were just like for the viewers and the fans and everything. There were people in helicopters flying over her house to see like what got delivered to her house, like if a crib got delivered to her house. Like,
Remind
it was
me how
crazy.
they got famous again.
How did they
How
get
the Kardashians
famous?
Are you
get famous?
serious?
You don't know?
Kim Kardashian, is that why?
Well, what did she
But
do? What did she
She
do?
made a sex tape,
Yeah.
but
Well, wasn't
Was
that
it
like
her-
way after?
wasn't it the O.J. Simpson thing?
Well,
Which
I
why
mean,
they
her
got famous?
father was involved in the O.J. Simpson
Yeah.
trial, but I mean, I'd probably say it was the sex tape that kind of got them
Right.
going.
So
Took 'em
now, the world has changed, where you make a sex tape, you release it, and then now you're famous. Now,
Yeah.
that being said, take nothing away from the Kardashians, right? From Kris Jenner. She's built an empire.
That was her.
Right. She's built
It's
an
her.
empire, and I don't care who you are, building, whether you want it or not, building an empire like they have done, where they've monetized every single thing. If that's what you want to do, then, that's good for you. Good for you. But you look at someone like George Clooney. He's opted not to go on social media.
Yes.
So that's a choice, right?
That's very
And I
true.
think a lot of people are afraid not to be on social media, because then it's going to hurt their career. Like when Muscles and Mayhem came out on Netflix, I didn't have an Instagram account. Mine was hacked about a year ago. And I just said, I don't need an Instagram account. Why? And the Netflix publicist was like, you got to have an Instagram account. You got to have a social. I'm like, I do?
Yeah, you have to
Why?
become relevant.
Yeah, you got to feed the beast.
You
You
do.
got to feed
Yeah.
the beast. So, I reopened an account, and it's just interesting. And, it was fun posting. And now it feels like it's a duty for me. And I'm like, why do I
Are
want to
most
post?
of your guys' like sorry I interrupted. Are most of your guys' DMs and kind of feedback like super positive, or do you find anything negative at times?
Mine's super positive. I don't think we have too
That's
much
great.
anything negative because, I mean, our fans are our fans.
Yeah.
That's very true.
You know what I mean? And they're just so grateful that they have this nostalgic, piece that's out there now, Muscles of Mayhem, that they can reflect back on and go, oh my God, this was part of my childhood. This was part of my bringing up. It brings them back to a simpler time, you know, and a lot of people love to have that feeling because right now it's like so much is crazy and everybody's like, you know, it's the world is what it is, but yet they just want to feel that simplicity again, you know, and they love that nostalgia of that feeling of going back.
Well, I think it's like a good song, you know, right? There's a song that you listen to and you listen to that song. Oh man, I remember that was high school when I was a freshman. I remember in college I was with my boys, or, oh, that's when I was with my boyfriend. I don't know why I spoke in that voice, but that's when I was with my boyfriend. So Gladiators is very nostalgic for kids of the 90s. And one of the nice things, like Lori was saying, we got so many DMs like, oh my God, I watched that show with my dad. It was that one moment we had together. Oh my God, I watched that show with, you know, my little brother. And then we'd go out to the backyard and we played Gladiators.
Yeah.
So when Muscles and Mayhem came out on Netflix, it was just really eye-opening to see how important and what a valuable memory that was for a lot of the 90s kids, you know.
And it's so surprising because they never thought it would happen again. They
Well,
never
and
thought this
especially-
reunion would happen again.
They didn't. And especially for me, going back to where a lot of my DMs were, thank you for giving me the permission to be a strong female. You know, because we were ahead of their time. You know, the females on the show, we were like, you know, we were muscular, we were, you know, powerful. We were just like kind of no bullshit. And that gave other women in the world at that point in time permission. So a lot of my DMs were, thank you. Thank you for paving the way. Thank you for being this kind of person, your authentic self to, you know, allow us to stand up and be powerful and strong and who we are. So that's another super cool thing about getting these types of the feedback.
That's great.
Because we didn't have that feedback back then. Because again, we didn't have the social media to get that kind of feedback.
Yeah.
You know, we got fan letters and everything, but the fan, you know, that's a little different story.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
so that's the good side to social media. One of the good things for me is, you know, people from all over the world, you know, on Instagram mainly, have DM'd and, oh, I watched you when I was a kid. Oh, thank you. You know, I named my dog after you. You know, whatever it was. Oh, hey, look, I had a rough time in childhood and watching your guys' show, you know, American Gladiators, it made me feel strong. That's the good side. And I pretty much write back to everybody. You know, I'm up late at night and my Kim, my girlfriend's like, you don't have to answer every single DM. And I'm like, yeah, I do.
Yeah,
I'm
we
sure
do now.
they
We do
very much
Well, and this is
appreciate
where
it.
it's like I talked to Laser. It was like, dude, you got to get on social media because here's the thing: if we have 10 gladiators and we only have 2 to 3 gladiators are on social media, and we want to stay relevant and we want to keep that name out there, and we want to do things, we want to do personal appearances, and we want to do bookings. All of us need to be on social media because then we have a presence with all of us, not just 1 or 2. It doesn't work that way.
That's a good point.
true.
You know, so my social media, I was getting my social media geared up a good year and a half ahead of time. I mean, when we started filming the Muscles of Mayhem, and it was like, okay, you need to do a TikTok account. I was like, really?
Your account's awesome, Ice. Your
Damn.
TikTok account is awesome.
I mean, I had such a good time building that.
Sure.
You know, I really did. But at the same time, like he said, it can be daunting because it's like, okay, now you got to do every single platform there is out there. We're
Yeah.
talking TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. You can link them all together, thank God. But at the same time, people want different content for all different platforms.
Exactly.
You know, and it's like, okay, you want this, this, this. I do a podcast once a week. I actually do other people's podcasts. So, and posting, it's like, oh my God, when do I find the time?
I want to, last thing here on the tour. So there was an anecdote in the documentary and in the book that there was a girl in Chicago, and I guess she was a beauty, and all the gladiators, all the male gladiators were pining over her. And there was a wager. Can you tell us about the wager?
So Chicago, where Michael Jordan played, famous city, famous arena. We went there on the tour, and there was this super, like, attractive female contender. And the boys, you know, all of us were lined up thinking, like, oh, Dad, who can, you know, ask her out? And we started, you know, guys in their 20s, we started to put a wager on. Oh, I could get her. Oh, no, I could go out there. I could go out with her. And we put, you know, whatever it was, $50 on this. Who could end up dating this girl?
She was only $50 worth.
Well, it wasn't the amount of money. It was just the idea of like, hey,
Like the
which one of us could be the most, macho guy back in that day and actually pull off this feat. And we were like, okay, here she comes. And after the show, we can't find her. So the way it works is that you compete on the show. Then after the show, there's a green room where there's a meet and greet where all the contenders come in, where the sponsors come in. And we're all looking around like, where is she? And we could not find her. We didn't know what happened to her. We're like, dude, I guess nobody wins the bet. And then the next morning at the hotel...
What?
We're packed up, we're waiting to go, and the elevator doors open, and this one, Lori Fetrick, Ice, comes out with her arm around this girl.
My arm was not around the girl, by
So
the way.
it was around her waist. She comes out with her arm around, at least that's how
you envisioned
That's how my
it.
tortured memory was. Her
Yeah.
arm was around her waist, and she looks at all of us, and she puts the L right here, and she goes, losers, and she walks out with the girl.
Did you know that they were kind of all competing for her?
Oh, God, yes.
Okay.
It was funny. It was
So you're
just
like
fun.
game on.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
She's got the game.
And so was that the only time you ever swooped in from any of the male gladiators and stole a gal from?
She probably stole my wife. I didn't even realize it. I'm just a big dumb guy,
Oh my
I don't
God.
have the game that this one had.
Okay.
That is so not true. That is so not true. No, not at all.
Ice, baby.
No. The guys, come on. The guys on the tour were, yes, they're just like, big hunks over the girls constantly. And it was kind of funny. And so, I mean, like I said, you just kind of get that feeling. You get that vibe. You just know. I mean, anyway, I did anyway.
Yeah.
So it was just fun to watch them, just drooling over some girls and making bets and everything else. And I could tell, and I could look at the girl whether or not she was into them or not, or if she was into me. And so I just wouldn't say anything to you guys, and I would just watch, and then, yes,
Okay.
it was a swoop in. But it
Gotcha.
was more of a fun swoop in to kind of like, yeah.
Okay. All right. So there was a couple swoops.
There was
a couple swoops.
There was a couple swoops.
I want to put the Nike logo on this one.
Oh, she swooped.
Whoosh.
Whatever.
Whoosh.
Whoosh.
No.
It's funny. You talk about dating, and it just back in those days, and it just reminded me, the American Gladiator days. And, I know in the documentary on Netflix, they call me a scoundrel, but the truth was, when I look back at that time, the one thing I hated was rejection. So rarely did I go directly towards a girl. Like, hey, some guys had rap. Lori had rap. She had game. For me, it was more like I just kind of hung out and saw who was giving me the vibe. Because the worst thing for me at that time, and I don't know if people still suffer from this, was to walk over and say, hey, Madysen, I think you're cute, hi, oh God, get a oof, that would have destroyed my ego. So my dating style was just to kind of hang out and act cool, like, hey, flip my hair a little bit back when I had a lot, and then see, like, who I could see, like, kind of checking me out, and, oh yeah, she's kind of looking at me, and I would usually wait for the girl to make the first move, to come up and approach me, because that felt safer.
Right.
That is still really present nowadays. Like a lot of
Oh, well, yeah, of
men
course, nobody
are
likes to be
scared
rejected.
to approach women because of rejection and things
Yeah.
like that. So it's still a thing. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know what rejection I don't know. I've got friends who've got theories, like, hey, it's a numbers game. You just, like your Ask 200 Women for Sex old YouTube video, right?
Yep.
One's going to say yes eventually. It's a numbers game. And I've got friends who just, hey, Madysen, you want to go out? No, hey, Lori, hey, Kiki, who's changed her name to Ashley Sinclair. Do you want to go out? It's a numbers game for me.
numbers game.
Yeah, but isn't it the numbers game? You have to have the thick skin as well, though.
Yeah.
You've got to have that
Absolutely.
thick skin.
Gotta
You've got to
have it,
be able
yep.
to handle that no.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Because-
I think what I'm trying to say is sometimes if you see someone of the opposite sex that's really attractive and they're not coming up to you and you're like, oh, what's wrong with me? I think sometimes it's the very attractive person who's actually kind of shy, who's a little insecure. That's the reason they're not coming up to you. It's not that there's anything wrong with you. If I could go back I would probably approach more women that I thought were attractive that I was interested in.
Oh, Max Zach, thank you for the 20 gifted subs. Thank you. Sorry, continue. Go on.
Yeah, so I think that's, if I could go coach myself, I would probably go and talk to that girl that I was interested in instead of waiting for her to talk to me or having a buddy saying, hey, dude, I think she digs you. Right?
Yeah, that would suck.
I feel like a lot of women too, like, don't really know how to approach men because they expected. They
don't have to.
They don't have to, but they expect the men to approach them, which is why they kind of have this shyness towards them because,
Yeah, but haven't things changed?
A little bit, just
no,
a tiny bit.
I think it's honestly,
Worse.
when it comes to approaching in real life, it's actually probably. Well, I think both men and women are approaching far less because you have dating apps. So instead of doing this kind of scary thing of approaching a stranger in person and risking that sort of like very upfront, in your face kind of rejection, even if it's polite, it still kind of stings a little bit. People kind of are just falling back on dating apps. It's like, okay, well, it's less personal. So if they just don't respond, it's still maybe stings a little bit.
I don't think I could do dating apps. Right?
Have either of you ever been on dating apps at all?
I was talking about that on the way up here. I think that like the dating apps, the Tinders and stuff like that, it's like, I don't know. It's are they serious? Are they are they gonna put me in their basement and just kill me or something? It's like,
well, I feel like the thing is though, is like everybody you meet starts out as a stranger at some point.
Yeah, but if you meet them in person, you can look in their eyes, and most of the time you get a
exchange
vibe.
of energy. Yeah,
absolutely.
Exactly.
You can feel their energy. You can feel who they are. You can't do that online. You can't do that on a dating app until you actually meet them, and then it could be a little bit too late at that point in time.
With dating apps, what I always did, I haven't used dating apps in like, I don't know, couple months.
Week.
Couple days.
Couple days. Yeah, no, I think I got, it's a long story, but I haven't used them in probably 8 months or something. I would always set up a phone call because at least with that, I would be able to get a little, I know it's not as good as in person. It's not as good as in person, but you can at least get them on the phone and get some sense of.
Now you can do Zoom.
You can do.
Put them on Zoom.
Yeah, you could do that too.
A little bit, maybe.
I don't know. So I kind of fantasize about having a dating apps. I'm very committed to my girlfriend.
Oh, you would kill it on dating apps.
There was that series on Hulu. Was the guy Jesse Eisenberg, where he's a doctor in New York. This came out this year. It was about a book. Anyway, so he's a surgeon in New York who grew up. He was a nerd. Now his wife, she divorces him, and now he's single for the first time, and he's a surgeon in New York, and he's kind of cool. And he goes on dating apps. He's never been on a dating app, and it's just like, oh, there's all these girls, and they all want to have sex. And he just goes on this montage where, he goes from one girl to the next to the next to the next because his wife left him. And, I was kind of talking to that about my girl.
Is that your fantasy?
Well, I just no. I mean, yes and no, and just to do that, and you know
what we should do right now, just as an experiment. You guys got your phones.
He's committed.
We'll download Tinder
committed.
on both your phones, and by the you set up a quick profile. Well, no, you wouldn't actually legitimately
just to see
for the
how
sake
many
of
hits you get?
entertainment. Set up a Tinder for you guys, just so you guys can see how it is. Ooh, motorcycle. So that you guys can see how it is, and with the disclaimer to your significant others that there's it's for purely entertainment purposes. So
it's for a social experiment.
Social experiment.
That's
for
what
the whatever podcast. It's so there was okay. We already covered the competition. Did you guys prior to the Netflix doc? Would you guys get recognized in public? And then after the Netflix doc, would you guys be getting constantly recognized out in public at all?
I want to answer that for you, but the TV show on Hulu is Fleischman's in Trouble. with Clara
Fleischman's in
Danes and
trouble.
Jesse Eisenberg.
Haven't seen it.
The
I
guy
will
from Social
say,
Network.
Though, that's kind of why dating apps work to a detriment in these days, because a lot of people are going on there to find like long-term relationships, but also a lot of people on dating apps are just looking for sex. So it's really hard for some people to find what they want on there.
I mean,
'Cause
yeah, but
there's
it
such a
can't,
big
isn't
pool.
it very like specific in the very beginning? This is what I'm looking for.
I'm not sure. I've never
Or-
been on dating apps, but can
you
you
haven't?
can you put
She
that?
doesn't
no.
need to.
I mean, you can, but
Yeah.
like actually something that you mentioned in the book, Dan, is you know, there's you were. Let me see if I have the notes on it. Basically, there was a girl who, I think it was Angie, and wait, is it
Like,
Angie?
he's like,
Hold
Name
on.
dropping. I don't
Angie.
remember.
And
Yeah,
she said
so-
that she wasn't into hooking up. And you said in the book, and this is something we see on dating apps, people in dating apps will say, not looking for a hookup. And usually that's actually an indicator that they're pretty down to hook up. You know, not always, but or it could mean that they've recently frequently engaged in hookups, but maybe they got ghosted or the guy didn't text them back, call them back.
What's your point, Brian?
Where am I
know what
going?
your point is.
Oh, where am I going? Well, Lori was saying, well, you could kind of lay that out in the beginning. Well, I'm looking for a relationship, and I think the thing is that it depends which dating app you're on. If you're on Tinder, I feel like that's more so typically geared towards hookup. You have Bumble, which is the one where women have to message first, at least if it's, you know, guys, girls. Then there's Hinge, which I think is a bit more relationship geared. But I don't know.
Damn,
I mean,
he knows them all.
I didn't know that.
I didn't even.
I thought they were all
Yeah,
just
well,
dating apps.
If you guys
like-
need advice,
Right.
if you guys are ever single again, I'll be happy to give you a rundown on the appropriate dating apps. I mean, you date women, so is there?
You know, I think that, yes, of course, there's got to be
Well, all those
dating apps for girls. But at the same time, I think a lot of them are like, just looking for that nice long walk on the beach. Fuck
Yeah.
that.
You're not a walk on the beach type of.
No, I am.
Oh,
I
okay.
totally am.
So what would your dating app say? You know, like I'm
Your
looking
profile.
for
What's your
X,
profile?
Y,
No, it's like
Z.
if I'm going to be on a dating app, I would
Yeah.
never be on a dating app because I don't feel like I would have to be on a dating app.
Okay, let's just pretend like you are on a dating
Okay.
app. I
Yeah,
want to know
yeah,
what your profile. I want her to lift. She's got
No,
super-
no,
she
no,
doesn't
not
say-
at
She likes
all.
the
No, I'm
feminine.
not into that.
But you want someone who exercises. I do.
Absolutely. I want somebody who's fit, you know, because that's me and that's what I'm into. So, of
fit
course.
but feminine.
Yeah, what?
Fit but feminine.
Fit but feminine. I like that. It wouldn't be, I'm looking for somebody to walk on the beach, listen to music, because that to me is kind of like, okay, I'm looking to have some fun. Absolutely. Travel, have good communication, but I'm not dead yet. We're hooking up. We're having sex. You know, it's, and that's what most lesbians are actually, by the time they hit an older age, they're not into it. They're just not.
They're not into sex.
They're
sex?
not.
They're not into sex?
They've already lost their testosterone. They're on the downslide of shit. You know.
Really?
What does one do when you're an older lesbian and you lose your testosterone, or older
I don't know.
women?
I haven't lost mine.
I actually.
No, I'm saying a straight women. When you start to reach a certain thing, when you start to lose your testosterone, what do?
You take care of the house. Are you talking lesbians or talking just girls in
just
general?
women in general.
Women in general. I mean, think about it. It's they're taking care of the household. They're taking care of the children. They're raising the children for the next generation.
That
Is what
is-
they're doing.
That's kind of like picturing a
No. I mean,
patriarchal society
no,
today,
it's
and
not.
It's an unclear view of
no,
what they see.
it's not. It's when their testosterone drops. You tell me. I mean, we were just talking about this before we came in. What did you do?
I've always taken
Not you.
Oh, I've always taken testosterone. I
Not
love
you.
it.
Your girlfriends. Or are they listening right now?
They might be listening right now.
Okay, sorry.
Wait, girlfriends, plural?
Sorry.
Plural?
No, one.
Yeah.
No, don't write that down, Brian. They're not.
okay.
No, he's
I'm
writing
something
shit
down.
down.
There's
What's with
one.
the writing down?
I'm
thing?
very
I just
happy.
got
I'm
notes.
taking
I got
notes.
some notes, but.
There's no more body count here. There's only the body count is one now.
Oh, okay. You're a semi-born again virgin, but
well,
you
so
recently lost it.
you should be
7
able to
years
like
ago.
to subtract from your body count, right?
subtract from the body
Well,
count.
so let's say you're a
How do
body.
you do that?
Wait, hold on. Is this like the Ferris Bueller, you know, where they try to they put the brick on the reverse pedal and they run the car on reverse.
No, it's more like
thinking
hot
they
tub
can
time machine.
Reduce the like lower the odometer or whatever, speedometer.
Oh, that's funny. That thing when it's in his garage when
In
he
Ferris
drove
Bueller,
his,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
a fantastic.
yeah.
That's a
Well,
great
no,
movie.
but let's say my body count is 12, okay, and
Multiply it by 3, and that's the real number.
It's probably more. It's probably more than that. Come on.
you don't even know me.
Times
man.
five, times five.
You don't even know me.
100.
So let's say your body count is whatever it is. Let's
You
say
lost
it's-
track.
Let's say it's 30.
Sure.
Okay, and that's a lot.
Yeah.
For
Not
are
really.
you over 30? Is your body count over 30?
No comment. I'm a man of God.
Madysen?
No comment.
Wait, say it.
She's
Come on,
not
Madysen.
over.
Madysen, you've already
No,
revealed it. You revealed it before.
I don't really know. Do I want to get into this right now?
Just for a second.
No,
Go.
I need to hear
What
my
is it?
daughter
Yeah.
speak. Now we're having a come to Jesus.
What is it?
8.
8?
Are you disappointed in your daughter?
8?
8.
Sweetheart, you're just...
He's going to get
She's
the
just
belt.
starting
No.
out.
you're starting
There's like a
college.
Starting
whole
out, man.
backstory I can get into it, but I'm
8?
not going to trauma dump right now.
You know,
Are you disappointed with 8, or are you just kind of like
He looks-
surprised at
y-
8?
I'm a little, you know,
A lot
just-
of people
Do you
are
wanna say sorry to
disappointed
your
by
father?
8. I wanted to say sorry
like
to
to
my
say sorry
father.
to your
I've
father?
never revealed this to my father before, so
8. Wow. I guess the 8 don't hate.
8 don't hate.
Yeah, 8 don't hate. I can't hate over the 8.
What is your body count? Do you remember?
Oh.
Do you even know?
8.
Do you know?
I don't think he knows.
Yeah, it's very brave of you to say that, Madysen, and I appreciate your courage.
He's skipping the question.
to come and say that in front of 5 million subscribers, 3.5.
Yeah.
4.2. 4.2.
Who, but who's counting?
Well,
Obviously, you are.
4.2.
4.2.
4.2.
Right.
But
We gotta be accurate.
you know, to come out and say that today, because I think there's a lot of people who judge.
Yeah,
Right, and to
very
come out and
much
say
so.
that, I think, is a beautiful thing, and it shows me that you're very comfortable in your skin and what you've done and who you are, and I'm very proud of you.
Thank you. I
You're, wait,
appreciate
So you
you're
think
proud
that's a
of, you're
lot?
proud of her.
I'm
Wait,
prou-
so you
you're
think
proud
that's a
of-
lot?
No,
That's
No,
what
no,
it
no,
is?
He's
not a
not
lot or
saying-
not a
he's
little.
saying
I'm
I'm
just
brave
proud
for
of you
coming
for
out
coming
here.
out and being
Oh, for-
vulnerable and saying that, saying, hey, this is me.
I'm not gonna lie about it.
Yeah, this
That's
is-
the thing. I
honest.
What's
will
the
always
point?
say
She's honest.
I will always say I'm not gonna make any excuses for that because that I cannot change anything about that.
And why would you
enjoy
want to?
yourself,
It's-
you
it-
don't
it's
need
who
to
you
make an
are.
excuse.
Like as I've gotten older, I've developed more values and morals, and like I know who I am
Oh,
for
Madysen,
myself.
Your mic. Here, move these.
What?
The mic's
What?
It's covering your face.
it's covering
a
your
bit.
Oh,
face. You're just
sorry.
not talking straight
Well, you know
into it.
what? I
Yeah.
think it's Freudian, right? She's feeling
hiding.
subconscious,
Yeah.
so she's hiding.
Yes.
Oh, sorry. I won't hide anymore.
It's
But
all
yeah,
good.
I will always just say like I will never make excuses for myself. I fully take accountability for like my past and things that I've done. But I have 8. I have a boyfriend right now who I'm very very happily with and committed to. But it's 8. It's gonna be 8 for the rest of my life. When I'm 60-year-old, it's gonna be 8 too.
Oh, wow.
So
So that's just your answer? It's not
Okay.
even real?
no,
How's it going to be 8 when you're 60?
because
She's saying her current boyfriend
Is going to be the
for
last
life.
one. That's the last one.
That's so naive.
Oh wow. Oh, okay. All right.
That's so
What?
cute. That's cute.
Because that's what we thought when we were 18.
Uh-oh.
really.
Yeah,
yeah.
Oh,
absolutely.
sorry,
When you
Frankie.
know, you
When,
know, though.
when you're growing up, you think this is the one. This is the one the rest of my life. And then that one breaks your
I
heart.
feel
And then
like
you move on.
In a way, I like growing up. I was like forced into maturity. I would say, like, I feel like I've already grown up. I know I'm 18, but I feel like a little older than I already am. And I feel like I don't know. When you know, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, when you know, and I fully believe you when you tell me that this in your mind will be the last man, and then maybe it will or won't. It doesn't matter, but someone who's gone through the experience of, oh, I know, and you know until you don't know. And there's a possibility that it could change. But again, just to go
Absolutely.
back, I want to commend you on your courage to come out and talk openly about your, past sexual experiences, because a lot of people wouldn't do that. It's
I
a
feel
very
like there's a
courageous
lot
thing
of
to do.
people in the situation that I am too that do get like judged very often for their body count because it matters like a lot nowadays in
But why?
modern day society. Because would you like to explain
Oh,
why
gosh.
body
Tell
count
me
matters,
why.
Brian?
Why
Should
does
we
a
get
body
into
count
it? Should we
count?
get into it?
Why does it count?
Men seek purity whenever finding a woman, and that's mainly the reason why I feel like body count matters, right, Brian?
I mean, I wasn't anticipating diving into body count, but I mean, I think there's something to be said. One, obviously, the more sexual partners you've had, there's a higher risk of having an STD. That's one component. certainly it could be the case if you've had 100 previous sexual partners, you lucked out, you rolled the dice, and you didn't.
Although you can be careful.
You can. However, I would say even if you are using protection, there are certain like STDs that can, like if you've got herpes or something, like
just busts right through the rubber.
Well, depending on where it is on the person, if it's like on, a condom doesn't necessarily preclude the spread of STDs. So there's that. I think there's something to do. There's certainly something to be said about pair bonding. The more sexual partners you've had, my view is that it's as you accrue more sexual partners, it becomes harder to bond with subsequent partners.
I disagree.
That's fine.
Yeah.
We live longer lives, right? So I think people in their 20s now, I think some of the people who study gerontology believe that the average age would be 120 years, right? That you're going to live to. So you're 18, so you've got another 102 years, right? So the idea of, being labeled or categorized by the number of sexual partners is going to determine how good of a spouse or mate you're going to be, I think is ridiculous. For me, that's from my own point of view. I think that's ridiculous.
I will agree on that part.
Now, okay, is there a context where if it starts getting in the hundreds to the 200s?
Well, there's a scale to it.
Yeah, there's a scale.
There's a scale
If there's a scale to it, I could maybe understand that. But, just because someone has a lot of partners when they're younger doesn't mean to me that they're going to be a bad partner later. They may be a bad partner for you if that's your preference and if that's how you judge that, and that's 100% valid.
Sure.
But to go out and say that they may have harder times bonding with people in a general statement, I find it harder to believe. And a lot of times people have difficulties bonding because they don't understand what intimacy looks like. And that usually comes down from the parental figures. So you don't understand intimacy, so you think sex is intimacy. And then eventually you learn that intimacy is not only sexual, but it's having the vulnerability to open up and, have
Your
a
emotional
conversation
side.
to let them see your emotional truth and your emotional self. So a lot of talk I hear is that, men are afraid to be vulnerable. I don't know if men are afraid to be vulnerable.
Oh, hold on.
Loose Pussy Energy donated $69. Maddie's got 8 bodies, with 8 back shotties. That's got more bodies than John Gotti's.
We opened up a can
She
of
thinks
worms
about
here.
it on the dailies and brought great shame to her families. The future is crazies. Change your ways, ladies.
That's what you think, but you don't really know me in real life. So
Oh,
I
all
don't
right.
really
Shots
care what you have
fired.
to
Shots
say.
fired. LPE,
Well,
thank you for the
There's something
TTS.
that sticks out in my mind, and it's off subject, but it was Rose McGowan. McGowan, is that her name?
Rose McGowan.
McGowan, the Me Too, started the Me Too movement.
Oh.
And there was a video I saw of her, and the commentator was asking her these questions. These people you're speaking against, they're very powerful. And she looks right at the guy and says, "So am I." And in that moment, I was like, oh my God, I love her because she's comfortable in her skin. So I think when you're comfortable in your skin, I think there's a certain attractiveness, because a lot of times what we're missing right now is authenticity. We're missing authenticity. People want to put this life up on social media. Then you meet the person like, oh my God, you're nothing like that person who's always happy, who's always having fun. So I think the authenticity, what you just shared through your vulnerability, I think makes you a gem.
Thank you. I really
Daughter.
appreciate that.
Oh, wow. Okay. There you have it.
Some fatherly advice.
Do we continue on the body count? I mean, I have more if you want to hear more.
I don't
But
know.
I don't know
Let's
if you-
move on.
Up to you, Brian.
It's up to you, Brian. Because I kind of said my
Yo
piece, and I
show.
was contrary to yours.
Sure,
and I love
sure.
it. If you want to talk, if you feel the need to.
Yeah, well, I think when it comes to body count, the way I kind of view it is like me personally, I don't want to date somebody who either currently is or was promiscuous. So I think having a high body count is proxy for promiscuity, or not necessarily, but if you've had 40, 50 previous sexual partners, I mean, to me, there's also just sort of an innate, like, if you've had a lot of sexual partners, a girl, for example, that I'm interested in dating, it's kind of like on this visceral level, I find it a bit gross. If before me, they've slept with 50 dudes, 100 dudes, I would find that a bit repulsive. I also think that there's a higher likelihood of infidelity. I mean, they've done some studies on this. The more previous sexual partners you've had, the greater likelihood of infidelity, greater likelihood of reporting relationship and marriage dissatisfaction, greater likelihood of divorce. So,
well, it's
Can
interesting.
I ask, let me ask, I want to ask you
Sure.
something though. Okay,
Sure,
let me
sure,
ask
sure.
you this. You meet a girl.
Sure.
You fall in love with her.
Yep.
Okay. And she knows this about you.
knows.
She knows how you feel about having a high body count.
Yeah.
So she's not going to be honest with you.
I hope she would.
She's not going to be.
I hope she would.
She's not going to be
she
because she
already
knows
knows
how
what you
you
think.
feel about it. And she's in love with you and you're in love with her.
Well,
now
She
all of a
lies.
sudden later on,
Oh, I find out?
Yeah.
What do I do?
right. Would
So
that
let's-
change the game?
Sure,
No, it's a very
over.
honest question.
Yeah, it's over.
It's over?
It's done.
Really?
You're in love with this girl?
Let's say, yeah, we're engaged, fiance.
Wow.
I'm calling
that
off
to
the
me
wedding.
is shallow as shit.
I don't think it's shallow.
I think it's totally shallow because you're
No.
in love with this girl.
Well, but he values
Why wouldn't-
truth.
Yeah,
He
but
values truth.
but the
She
point
lied.
is,
Yeah, you value truth.
She lied.
But
If
she
she
could lie-
lied because she knows how you feel and she was in love with you and
But
you fell in
shouldn't-
love
you
with
shouldn't-
her.
Well, she shouldn't have lied.
and just because she slept with more men that you
Well, not
didn't feel
necessarily.
comfortable
Not
with.
necess-
I mean, you're judging?
But we all
You're
make,
judging.
Well, I am judging, but we all make sort of discernments when it comes to the types of people that we're going to partner with. I mean, we all make judgments.
I think that if I found my girlfriend had over 100 body count and it was 200, I really wouldn't give a shit.
Yeah,
Because
some people
she's-
don't care.
Because she's in love with me right now.
Sure, and some
And it's
people
our life together. And
That-
we've been
and that's
together
totally
for
fine.
13 years. But am I going to throw the towel in?
No, and look, everyone's entitled to having their different preferences, standards, and boundaries. I think if it, for you personally, if it doesn't bother you, then I think that's totally fine. For me, I just think it's a difference of values when it comes to sex and when it comes to, it would be, I guess it be almost a compatibility thing. It'd be a difference of values. And it's just, we always, both men and women want to pick the optimum partner. And I do think if you've had a promiscuous past, that is sort of in my view, again, my own personal view, some people don't think this way, other people do. It's I think it's a negative mark on you.
And you're a man of God, correct?
I mean, yeah.
I like the quotes.
Yeah,
I like
I'm
the
a man
quotes.
of God.
You're judging.
But we all make judgments.
You shouldn't.
Because
Not if you're a man of God.
But for example, I mean, you said that you don't date you don't date women who are muscular, for example.
That's just my preference.
But this is also a preference.
But it's a
for me.
visual preference.
But couldn't you make the argument that someone's behavioral characteristics is more important than just how they present visually? Because like when it comes to your sexual activity in the past, that's like something to do with your behavior.
Mm-hmm. True.
So can you
But
argue
it's not
like
always in such a specific way that you think it is.
What do you
know
mean?
what I mean? Like, I don't want to. I'm just gonna tell my story with it.
All right.
So
Okay.
my story, I obviously, once again, I'm not making any excuses. I'm just sharing my experience through what happened. But growing up, I feel like I was very sucked into this whole modern society thing. You had to do it because it was cool. You had to do it because your friends were doing it. If you didn't do it, like, you were ugly. Just like simply for like male validation, basically. And that's kind of why. But once I like grew up, once I got older, like I said earlier, I developed better morals and values for myself, especially like sexually. And I didn't really know that until I met my current boyfriend now, who kind of had to teach me these things because I didn't have anyone to teach me those things.
donated $69. I'm trans, biologically female, virgin, and raised by a Republican father. I think body count needs a more nuanced view. Michael Knowles was promiscuous in his past,
Was he?
but changed.
I don't think he
Women
was.
can change too. In short, case-by-case basis.
Okay, well, Victor, thank you for the TTS. Appreciate it.
And I'm not saying I changed, but I definitely developed and, I definitely grew. And like I said, growing up, I didn't really have anyone to tell me, like, the true value of sex until I met my boyfriend, who kind of shared that with me.
So you have changed, though. Just like, again, yes, people grow, people change. That's what life is. It's about growing. If you're not growing, you're dying.
Well, I think Brian, the great thing about today, this country, us, is you can have your preference.
Sure. Yeah.
Right. When I was younger, I felt the same way. And I read this interesting study recently, how many adult men are satisfied with their sex life. How many adult men? And it was like horrendously low. It was like 22% were satisfied with their sex life, because men in general, they do not marry their best and favorite sexual partner. They usually marry someone they want to be the mother of their child. And they put different values upon who they want to raise their children than who they want to hang and bang with. Right? But then down the road, what that will lead to a lot of times is like, oh God, I love her. She's a good mom, but the sex just isn't great. And so
I think you can work on that, though.
Do you?
Like, if you really care. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Do you?
Yes.
Can you?
Absolutely.
Do you?
Is it really?
Absolutely.
Oh God, son.
But I mean,
I know.
son,
you can.
I do think you can work with each other
Like,
to
if
make
you
your sex life
communicate with
better,
your
though.
partner.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're really close.
What's the longest you've been with somebody?
5 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm talking about.
What do you mean?
You know about the dip.
Do you get bored?
No, he
about the
doesn't
dip.
yet. No, he doesn't yet. He doesn't know it yet.
You know about the dip?
The dip comes at about 7
Oh,
years.
okay. I'm still working on it.
Yeah,
I'll get to
it comes
7
about
years
7 to
eventually.
10.
Well, I mean, certainly I think like there's a certain excitement when you're first with somebody and it's new, and certainly things maybe slow down a little bit, but I mean, I think if you communicate with your partner, whoa,
Spice it up.
what are you talking about?
No, it's just funny. Now start adding kids into the equation. You got to take the little kid. Little Johnny's got to go to practice. Little Lucy's got to do this. And you take the kids into it. You take your working full time to make a living. You take her taking care of those kids and or not working. You put all this into your life. And
then you put the finances in it. And you
Oh,
got to
yeah.
pay the
You
bills.
gotta
You
pay
got to
this.
put your kids through private school.
And then you have to fight for sex. Not fight for it, but you have to fight
For that alone
to
time.
find time to have good sex. You have to fight for time when the kids are asleep. Are they sleeping, honey? I don't know. Go check. Close the door. No, we can't.
So-
the kids aren't awake.
so wait.
And then you
So
don't
this
want to
is-
plan it,
so
because if you
wait, hold
plan
on,
it, the
hold on.
spontaneity is totally gone.
So, but are you arguing that I should, in order to have a fantastic sex life with my future long-term partner,
Well, here's what I'm
wife,
arguing.
she ought to have a high body count? Is that what we're arguing?
Take the words fantastic sex life, long relationship out. Just take it out. I mean, it's a dream. It's a dream. It's hard because remember, you're not going to marry your best sexual partner. You're going to marry someone who's got these matronly qualities that's you can count on, that's not that experienced, that probably hasn't been with anybody who's going to rival you in bed, because we don't want you to be insecure about
It's not.
that.
It's not about insecurity, though.
Well,
It's not. It's not about insecurity.
Look,
I mean, okay. So there is this concept though.
or dirtying your woman with their bodily fluids.
I mean, but like, okay, let me ask you a question. Dan. Okay, we're getting into the juicy stuff here. So would you not feel a little bit, it's not even coming from a place of insecurity, but let's say you were about to sleep. I know you're in a 7-year relationship. Let's say you weren't in a 7-year relationship. You're with a new girl and you find out, obviously it's your first time being intimate together, and maybe there's not an understanding between you two when it comes to any sort of commitment, right? Because you just start dating. You wouldn't find it you wouldn't take pause if she had slept with a guy the night before she sleeps with you?
I don't think he'd ask.
If it's a hookup, no, I don't. You don't ask. It's none of your business. No more than it is hers to ask you. You just hope they're showered. You know what I mean? No. I'm saying, we're talking hookup.
Okay.
We're talking hookup. If I'm dating a girl and I'm interested in her and we think we have a thing, but it's not official, You know, I will say this. When I was younger, I cared a lot more.
Based.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
No, when I was younger, you know, like,
Yeah.
oh, she can't sleep with this many people. I had more rules.
Yeah.
I had more rules, and I thought what would...
That was smart. That was smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, but as you get older, those rules go away.
Yeah.
Bring it back.
I said I had more rules. I had more rules, you know.
Yeah.
She's got to do this. She's got to do that. You know, she has to be this, you know, like this body count. Ew.
Sure.
But, you know, as you get older, you just want someone who's great. You just want someone who you can count on. Want someone who's loyal, that's going to be there. You want someone that you get along with. You know, you want someone who has kind of similar values. Mm-hmm. You know, the body count becomes such for me, an unimportant thing.
Very irrelevant.
Now, look, if she was at, 500, 1,000, yeah. But, you know, if it's 10, if it's 40.
So in other words, he's saying he's not going to date a porn star?
No, I've done that.
Okay. But you dated, but you didn't like it was.
I wasn't marrying.
Dating?
I wasn't marrying
It was just
anybody.
more of a hookup.
It was we dated.
Well, yeah, you said they were broken.
It was
pretty
dated.
much in your book.
You know, I found that most porn stars and strippers have some kind of brokenness in them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but maybe that's not fair for me to judge and say that.
Sure.
You know, because I know I can speak for myself. I had a brokenness in me. You know, I saw what my dad did when I was 10 years old. I was coming back from Asia. My dad and I were together at the hotel, and I'm 10. And he says to me, he said, "You read the book. You said this."
Yeah.
He goes to the bar at the airport the night before, and he gets 2 prostitutes. I'm 10 years old. We're walking to the hotel, and he's got the 2 prostitutes with him, and he looks at me. He says, "Hey, do you want one?"
Yikes.
I'm 10.
Yikes. That's yikes.
You know, I hadn't even reached puberty. We go in the room. It's a 1-bedroom. It's a 1-bedroom, 1 bed. And my father has sex with these 2 women on the bed while I'm there. And my back is to him. You know, I'm 10. I pretend like I'm asleep. And you know, the bed's just...
Is it TOS? It might be a little...
Guidelines.
But yeah, I think it might be a little iffy for YouTube.
Yeah. So anyway,
so
so the idea of that, and you know, for me, there was a brokenness when it came to relationships and when it came to women.
Yeah.
Right. I followed my dad. You know, you had a lot of girls that made you feel cool, and I didn't realize how much I was hurting the women that I was lying to, that I was cheating on, because I never saw that with my dad. You know, and it took me a long time to say, look, if you're going to be with somebody, have enough courage to say, hey, I'm interested in somebody else. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm sorry. You know, do the human across from you, regardless of their sex or sexual preference, the right thing, and just, you know, be a good human being.
Sure.
But so we're going back to body count, right? So body count.
Yeah.
I feel like in the sense that if 2 people were just hooking up, that question wouldn't really come into play, because those 2 people are hooking up just to hook up. You know what I mean? If they were getting in a relationship, it would make sense why.
What the? Holy fuck. Sorry, we got fucking emergency vehicles going by. One of the perks of being centrally located. No, I don't have an issue with other people having a different view on this than I do. I just know from my own personal preferences when it comes to picking a partner, I'd certainly prefer someone who has a lower body count.
Have you ever had a one-night stand?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, and did you ask the body count?
No. I don't make a habit. I certainly don't make it a habit of having one-night stands. I'm more a relationship. Like, if I have sex with a girl, I want there to be a continuity. I want to continue seeing her. But I've had a one-night stand. No, I don't think I asked her body count then. But this was a long time ago.
Why are so many men unhappy in their marriages with their sex life? Because they marry somebody that they want to be a mother more than they marry for the sexual partner. And I'm not saying right or wrong.
I think you can have both, though. I think
But no,
He's
but
like,
what
"Nah,
he's
you
saying
can't
is
have both."
then you become occupied with so many things because you have kids, you create a family.
Yeah, it becomes
they're
harder.
in school and
It
things
becomes
like that.
harder.
You just
Well,
don't
sex
really
is the
have
last
the
thing
time.
on your mind when you're having kids and
Exactly.
raising a family and taking care of the house and doing the laundry and doing the dishes and doing this and doing that.
Sure.
Sex is the last thing. So they're working their ass off as a mom and doing the house all day. And then the husband comes home and it's like, okay, babe, let's do this. She's like, seriously? That's the last
that
thing that's
happen
on
a
my
lot?
mind. Yes, that happens.
Really?
Absolutely, it happens.
Well, yeah, there's dead bedrooms.
Okay,
and
think
stuff,
about
and-
this. Okay,
Yeah,
not to
but-
go here too deep, but at the same time, the women that are going into menopause, you guys aren't even remotely thinking of that yet.
To be fair, I did date a woman who was 45. Just gonna say.
She's not even in menopause
Not
yet.
yeah, really.
No, 50.
I thought this starts
50. No,
around 45.
it depends on the woman.
Yeah,
But
okay.
my point
All
is
right. If
that
you know any
let's-
50-year-olds, get me in touch and I'll see what I
Okay,
can do.
so they're going through menopause. The last thing on their mind is sex. They're having hot flashes. They're miserable. They're not sexually active. Okay, so what happens to you at that point in time? You're still sexually active. She's like, no, I'm done, dude. What do you do?
What do you?
I mean,
am
are
I
you?
married to
My
her?
question
Am
is
I-
that it's more along the lines of this is where it's like the men have to come up to the plate and actually like seriously.
Foreplay? Are we talking about foreplay?
Yeah, you know what? When a relationship goes on, they just
Foreplay?
just get it over with.
It's like you got 2 minutes. Now I got 5 minutes. But it's what I'm trying to say is the women aren't going to always be that sexually active as your relationship continues. You do have to work on it. The women have to work on it. The men have to work on it. But
Sure,
I don't think the
yeah.
body count's really that important at that time
Oh, so you're-
whatsoever.
well, I think the previous example you gave was like, well, what if you're in love with her and then you find out her body count? I mean, that's something that I would probably ask very early on, and the relationship just wouldn't proceed. I think, you know.
Okay.
Look,
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, if
totally
that's what- if
respect
that's what
that
you're-
you have
totally,
your idea
yeah.
of what you want.
Yeah.
I think that's great because I think too many people go in not having an idea of what their values or the moral hierarchy is,
Sure.
and then they go in and think, "Oh, love is going to take care of it
Yeah.
all," and it doesn't.
Sure.
Right? But I think, at the end of the day, a
You
blue
gonna-
pill
you-
takes
are you
care
I've
of
been looking
everything.
at the entire podcast, and I'm like,
Are you going to take the red
blue?
pill? You
The
should take the
blue
red
or
pill.
the
I think you
red?
take both.
I think. Oh, purple pill.
Blue
Okay,
or
there you
red?
go.
I'm a
take
purple
both.
pill. I'm a purple.
Okay, there you
I
go.
am.
So
There-
just to close this loop.
Yeah.
Look, you can have really good sex when you've been in a long relationship.
Yeah.
It just looks different than it did in the beginning.
Wait, what are we talking about
It
here?
looks different in
It's?
this-
What's it?
Sex is
Oh, okay,
looks
okay,
different.
okay.
In the beginning when you're dating,
Yeah.
you're hours, you're jumping off this, the dresser, so to speak, and it's the most important thing. And
Yeah.
anybody is always ready and available in the beginning, and then eventually it changes, but other things change with it. You can still have good sex. It's just you have to work for it and you have to plan it a little bit more.
Got it.
Planning sucks.
Got it. We have a couple chats here. We have Puffy Vegas. Gee, Puffy, he's always in the chat. Start dating at 12 years old. I understand what he's talking about. My school teachers, mom, friends, etc. 8 out of 10 men's wives offer me sex. As soon as my male friend's wife got drunk, it would get really aggressive. I believe all. Okay, Puffy. All right. He's okay. He's an interesting character. We have Conan 19. Was there a political leaning in the group of gladiators that you could notice?
What does that mean?
Political leaning, like were they more so Democrat, Republican?
Oh, back
Nobody cared about politics.
feel like,
back
yeah,
then.
politics-
Nobody gave a shit about politics back
nobody
then.
cared about politics till Trump, right? I mean,
Not even till Trump, till COVID.
Well, no,
Because
I think
COVID,
that-
I think COVID actually, I'm not supposed to bring this up. Sorry. But it opened the door because everybody was at home, and so everybody got on the internet.
Yeah.
So I don't think I think before you could be a Republican, you could be a Democrat, and you could still be friends.
Now you can't.
Yeah, now it's
Yeah,
there's
there's
such a divisive line, where people unfriend people because of their political views, and my partner Kim is that way. And I don't agree with it. I have friends who are Republican. I have friends who are liberal. I have friends who are not communist. So I have friends,
Okay.
small parties, and and we should be able to have an open chat about politics like we do body count.
Sure.
Without people getting so,
Yeah.
so
We can
angry.
talk.
You
We
can't,
can-
though.
We
You
can be
can't
different.
nowadays.
We can have different
Yeah.
opinions, and we can still agree to be friends
Yeah, of course.
and be cordial and civil.
Yeah.
But it's like you said, your girlfriend, she's like, no, I can't do that. So in other words, if your girlfriend found out that we were purple, she might not want us to hang out with you.
Purple.
Yeah.
The purple pill.
The purple because
the pill makes you turn purple.
Because the right's too far and the left is too far.
That's a good point.
Right in the middle.
Well, look, on the edges, right? On the edges, and everyone on the other side of the party, they always look at the most radical of that party, and they're afraid that's what the party is. Does that make sense, what I'm saying?
Yes, yeah.
And generally, the parties, look, if we're getting into politics, I think the biggest challenge is that so many people are one-voter issues. This is important to me, abortion is, so I'm going to vote this way. Immigration's important to me, I'm going to vote this way. They don't look at the whole body of what the different political parties stand for. I think you have to look at, look what I believe. Do I believe in gun control? Do I believe in abortion? Do I believe freedom to choose? How do I feel about LGBT? How do I feel about pharmaceutical? I think you have to look at all the issues. And again, I hate that it's gotten so divisive.
Sure.
Yeah, it's very, there's a specific term, but I think you said it, Lori. Both sides have really gone, I can't think of the term, but we have Puffy Vegas here. I am 49 years old. When you get 40, don't ask anymore. I mainly date mostly women in their 20s. Okay, Puffy Vegas.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
you
you
got to
for that.
spell check these before you send them in, buddy. It's make my job.
Spend the 20 on Chat
GPT.
GBT. 20. Put it in Chat GBT before you put it up there, Puffy.
There you go.
Grammarly's
Lori,
free.
so, okay, you said that you don't like really the muscular type of women, if I recall. Is that correct? Yeah. Dan, are you getting
He's
up for a
leaving.
second? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I had a question.
You have different politics than me, and you have a different body count than me, so I got to
Get out of here.
Exactly, he's done.
Get out.
You, daughter, come with me. You go. I'm gonna use the big boys' room.
I'll save the question for later then. Okay, so I think we're we're all caught up here on the chats.
Lori, would you consider yourself more of like the masculine woman in the relationship, which is why you seek a more feminine woman?
It's interesting you say that. I've got to say I'm still right down the middle on that. I am. I like to take care of, but I like to be taken care of.
Okay, yeah.
So that's a hard thing to find, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's
And I know I can be a lot. So therefore, it's like finding someone that actually can handle me, just because of... I'm true. It's just because of who I am, my personality. I'm an Aries. I'm a fire sign.
Okay.
And so therefore, whoever the girl is, it's like she's got to know how to handle me. And it's interesting. My girlfriend and I, it's like she handles me very well. She's also an Aries, which is interesting. And a lot of people are like, holy shit, 2 Aries in the same household. But it's like, my past girlfriend was a Taurus. And so when we argued, there was like bucking heads and she would just like come after me and I'd go after her, in the argument. But with this one, it's like she understands me. She understands exactly where I'm coming from. So we'll argue and I will be arguing, let's put it that way. And it's like she'll just sit there and look at me and then she'll just smile and go, are you done? And it just makes me laugh. And I'm like, okay, I'm done.
So you kind of get each other.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, as far as the masculine one in the relationship, no, not necessarily. Okay. I tend to take on that role sometimes, but at the same time, I still love being that girl and being taken care of.
Yeah. Because I feel like a lot of relationship these days where it's 2 women, there's always one that's a little more
of course
that plays a masculine part and one that plays a feminine part.
There's no role playing. There's never been any role playing in my relationships whatsoever.
You guys both kind of just pick up what each other
absolutely
lacks in.
And that's kind of I think in any relationship, to be quite honest with you.
Very true.
Water. I'm good.
It's like diet.
We have energy drinks if you need one, or
he'll be up till 2 in the morning.
Coughing. I thought you said coffee. No, I've got some water here. You dated Sam Simon. You want to tell us about that?
Interesting enough, yes.
The Simpsons creator.
Yes, he created The Simpsons. When I was doing Gladiators, I did a couple television shows, and I actually met Drew Carey first. So Drew and I actually went to a couple premieres together, different things in the industry, and then that's where Sam was actually producing one of the Drew Carey shows. So I met Sam Simon on set.
Okay.
Super nice guy, Not necessarily my type, but just a super nice guy. We wound up, I actually lived with him for about 3 to 6 months, somewhere in there, but his house was haunted, so I wanted to leave.
His house was haunted. Like creaking and that sort of
like,
stuff?
No,
Did you
he
see a
actually
ghost?
saw a ghost sitting at the end of his bed.
Shit.
He definitely said,
Did
he
you
goes,
see-
there was a female apparition sitting on the end of his bed. He said he was never afraid of her.
Oh, it was a friendly apparition.
It was a friendly one.
Okay.
But just him telling me these stories, like if I had to come home at night, 2 a.m, and he wasn't there, yeah, it was a bit creepy, because I could
probably
hear
leave, too.
things
Oh, shit.
throughout the house. And I'm like,
wow.
Family's been like super spiritual my whole entire life, so like I believe in ghosts and demons and all that stuff.
Oh, I
and
do
it-
too.
It creeps me out too. Yeah.
yeah. So it was pretty intense, that house was, But Sam was an interesting character. I mean, we had a really good time. I mean, it got to the point to where he was extremely into me. I was dating girls, and I was like, can't we bring girls
threesome?
into this?
Okay.
He didn't want that.
Oh, he didn't want it?
Absolutely
Really?
not. No, I know, right?
I kind of get it though. Here's my take on threesomes. It's like, I'd rather only disappoint one woman at a time. You know what I mean?
That's good.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. And I don't even think that was his thing. I think it was more he just wanted me 100% to himself.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that. Okay.
So he really wanted children at the time. I never wanted kids. He's like, have my child and basically I'll take care of you. You will be set for life.
Simpsons creator.
Simpson
Set for life.
creator.
Set
Holy
for life.
shit. Yeah. Set for life. And
Okay.
that's still,
But-
even at that, I was like,
You had to go a different
no,
way. You had to
can't
go a
do
different
that.
way.
Yeah.
Okay.
We had great, we became very good friends and remained friends until the day he passed away. Yeah.
Gotcha. Dan, so, and the reason I brought up Lori about how you're not so much into the muscular women, Dan, you had an encounter with a muscular woman, perhaps more than one.
He's like, who?
Angie,
Where?
I think,
Which
from the
one?
book.
Oh, in the book Gladiator, a true story of Royd's Rage Redemption, I changed the name to protect the innocent, if anybody was innocent.
Oh, okay. So that wasn't that girl.
So, no, I've like I'm mumbling over my words here. You've made me uncomfortable, Brian.
Oh, okay.
Whatever. There was a girl I dated, and she was a former bodybuilder. She wasn't, huge at that time, but I think what you're referring to is something sexually about her changed.
Yeah.
And
the steroid.
yeah,
clit.
she was on a
the clit. It was big. The clit.
That's hysterical.
The clit was big.
Are you covering your ears?
No.
She's like, I don't want to hear this. I
What?
want to hear this.
I was just not expecting that to come out of your mouth
You-
from the
Apparent-
story,
so
but
I guess if you, as a woman, if you take PEDs or
I think
it can
large
grow.
amounts it can be a side effect.
Just like men's balls shrink.
Yeah. I'm not gonna front. I kind of.
Is it that evident?
Pretty much.
What are they good for?
The balls.
Testicles. This
Oh,
is a
yeah. Okay. Excuse me.
What are they
Excuse me.
good for?
I apologize.
We don't know.
do you really want your daughter to share about that?
we don't
Madysen,
know.
what are they good for?
I don't know. What
I
are
don't
they
wanna
good
hear this.
for? What are
There
they
should
good
be. What's
for?
that song? War. They should do a remix. War. Huh? What are they good for?
Balls. What are they
Balls.
good for?
Oh, that is fantastic. What are they good for?
What?
What do you think they're good for
Wouldn't
besides
you guys
procreating?
know what they're
I
good for?
mean, I don't know if this is gonna get some X-rated here.
Well, you
A
could.
girl can
Oh,
suck on the
God.
balls. I'm just saying.
Ugh.
A girl can suck. No, not a fan.
So disgusting.
Whoa.
I
hold
thought
Balls,
on.
that's
balls
what
are
they were.
disgusting.
If you
They're
you
gross.
shower.
They're gross.
And this is a
They're
guy who talks
gross.
about body count.
They're
Oh,
gross.
the you mean like the
There's
consistent? not
nothing
like the-
attractive about balls at all whatsoever. Chat, I
but-
don't give
A
a
lot
shit
of
what you
girls find them
say.
attractive, though. I think.
A lot of
of your
girls do not
friends-
find them
That's
attractive.
Madison's friends.
I haven't met any girls, straight girls,
Really?
that go, "Oh my God, balls are so cool." cut them off. We
could
don't.
you-
need
Whoa,
'em.
whoa, whoa, whoa.
Don't
We
need
can't
them.
do
Like, could
that.
you imagine, like,
Oh, FTG, thank you. Thank you very much for the gift of memberships.
could you imagine? Oh, what'd you like about him? Oh my God, did you see his testicles?
Right. Oh, remember? Wait. Okay, I won't mention the person's name, but it was on tour.
Oh.
And somebody said, "Oh my God, he's got the biggest balls I've ever seen." And I think you know who I'm talking about.
Wait, was it a gladiator?
It was
I
not a
know it wasn't
gladiator.
me.
It was not a gladiator.
I have no idea.
Contender? Producer?
I have no idea.
Oh, whisper. Okay.
I've never heard that about that gentleman.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
And I don't know if, look, usually guys couldn't be proud if, they're well endowed. But I don't know if you have, elephantitis of the testicles, if that's something you're like, yo, bro, check it out.
Check out my giant balls.
I don't even know. I mean, can a guy's testicles be too big?
I don't know. I feel like a lot of guys, I don't know, like around my age, I would say, like, having small balls is an insult, right?
Well, I mean, like to have big ball, like cojones. There's
Yeah, but-
that component.
Yeah, but that's
What if they had small balls? What if they
that's
had small
metaphorically.
balls?
Small balls.
physically.
However,
Yeah, no,
they
I
were
thought
well endowed. Do
like
you
a
care?
physical thing too.
But do you care?
I don't think
I don't
girls
care at
care
all.
about ball size.
They don't care at all.
I don't think girls
I
care
don't
about
think they
balls
care
at
about
all.
ball
They don't
size.
care
They
at
only care in
all.
the sense that they can gratificate their partner.
Yeah, that's
with
it.
that.
Gratificate?
Sexually gratificate.
Sexual gratification. Are you going to stand for this
I
kind of
don't know.
language
I don't
from
know.
your daughter?
Language. When we get home, you're in trouble.
But so
No soup for you.
you did encounter a woman who was on steroids and I guess made the clip bigger, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, it was.
Let me ask you, how were her orgasms? Or did you care?
Well, no,
Whoa,
it
thrown
was
under the bus.
It was interesting. It was just interesting, something physically to see. In technical terms, it looked like she had a little penis.
Based.
Oh, that's kind of big.
Yeah,
That's really big,
like
actually.
like a little infant genitalia.
Holy shit.
Okay.
That is
and
big.
it
That's a
was
little,
just like
That's big.
it was a little disconcerting, and she was like, she didn't want to get naked.
She was self-conscious.
She was very self-conscious. She didn't
about
want to get naked because, it was a thing for her. But, I'm sure there's a website for girls with
I'm sure
large
there are.
that, guys go to and want to see and
I'm
want
sure it's on
to
OnlyFans.
Yeah, it's on OnlyFans.
I'm not going to front. I kind of like a big clit. Don't get me wrong. I'm down for the big clit.
See
I
how
can't
big my
believe
thumb
we're
is?
actually talking about this right now.
It came up. I don't know.
This is my thumb.
That's
Send her
that's
my way. Is
huge.
she still around?
No way. Are you serious?
Why not? Let's go.
Damn.
This is a
Let's
guy
go.
who cares about body count.
Right?
I got to link up with some bodybuilder gals.
Wow.
Yeah, if you know.
Wait, no,
any.
look.
Yeah,
this,
that's
this
huge.
doesn't happen to every girl who takes testosterone. It happened to her.
Oh,
and-
some,
and-
not all, but
And
okay.
I remember she actually cried because she was ashamed, and that hurt me. That she was ashamed of something because
Yeah.
I think everything's got beauty in its.
Well, it's kind of like being with a man that has a micro penis.
Oh.
Why did you look at
Or
me?
a girl with a large labia.
That was so wrong, Brian. She looked at me. She's like, "It's kind of being with a man who has a micro penis." Why are you looking at me?
Yeah.
That's when you really feel sorry for him. I think I was with one when I was super young. I mean, young meaning like
Was his last name Simon?
no, it was Clark. But I think I was like 20. I want to say
Okay.
around that area, and it was kind of shocking. It was like, whoa,
Whoa.
what do I do with this? Seriously, what
try your
do
best.
I do with this?
You try your best, I guess.
Yeah, nothing happened. Let's put it that way.
I kind of feel bad for men who have the micro peen. It's
Yeah,
it's got to
'cause
be tough.
it's gotta be
because-
Just
really
for a friend, what is
hard.
micro? I mean, what is considered micro?
Well, I
and what's
think it's
considered
like
average?
this.
Like
It's
I
like
think
it's like an inch.
Erect? Because some people are,
Let's
growers,
say,
not
let's
showers.
say, let's say it's even
Yeah,
2
that's
inches
true.
erect.
That is true.
2 inches erect? Are you serious?
Show me how big 2 inches is. That's like, is that 2 inches to you?
I
That's
don't
Oh,
think
no,
that's-
she just went, she was like, that's
No,
2
no,
inches.
No, that's about 2 inches. Right
No,
there,
but
right?
there's like micro where it's like
Yeah.
An inch, less than an inch.
Huh? I've never
Really?
I've never seen such a thing.
I'm sure in the chat they'll tell you.
I'm looking now. Logan Paul. How did that come up?
I have no idea.
Someone said 2 inches is not micro.
I don't know if it's certainly below average, but
different.
micro is like I think it's almost a medical term for like very very small. So that must be tough. That must be
Okay,
tough.
so I'm looking in the chat. So anything under 2 inches is micro? Is that what they're trying to say?
1 to 2 inches. It could be. I'm not sure.
1 to 2 inches.
What is there
I
a
don't know. I don't know.
corresponding
Half an
dysfunction in women? Like
Is there a what?
like a corresponding, like what's the equivalent of a micro penis for a woman? You know,
Having
is that
small
That's
right?
what- if a
Tits or an
woman
ass?
has a small
Can't even
She's
say the
too
word.
tight.
can you?
vaginal entrance,
Vaginal entrance. Okay.
yeah, I mean that is not seen as a detriment.
It's like a
That's
medical.
probably she probably goes way up on your list.
Wait, if
Probably,
it's so if it's
probably like a woman with small breasts or.
no,
No.
I'm,
But
no.
I feel like that'd be the closest comparison to what you're.
I don't think
about.
there is.
I think there is no equivalent for micro for something that a
Yeah,
woman
yeah.
has.
Not to
I
that
don't think so
degree.
either.
Not to that degree.
You know what I mean? I think. Yeah, I think if you ever want to tease a guy, like if a girl wants to say something bad about a guy, she'll say, "Oh, he had a little wee wee."
Yeah.
Even if it's a lie, just because they know that messes with the male psyche so much.
Well, what's the go-to thing if you're trying to mess with a woman?
You call her a whore or a slut,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
But yet, the men are called studs.
I know it's not fair.
What, that's I mean,
It's-
it's
no, I'm
backwards.
just saying I don't
Yeah.
agree with it, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
in a puritanical, patriarchal society, oh, she had sex with too many men, she's bad. Put the scarlet
I
letter
concur.
on her. Put the scarlet letter on her. You know what I mean?
You know what I think is really unfair is if women sleep with a lot of men, they're judged for it. They're called a slut, for example. If a guy does the same thing, then he's called gay.
No,
What-
I heard
what?
they're called a stud.
If a guy sleeps with a lot of women,
stupid-
he's gay.
No. Okay, so the
I'm
joke, the
I
joke,
missed that.
the joke is if a woman sleeps with a lot of men, she's a slut. But if a guy does the same thing, then he's gay.
Oh, bada bing.
Bada bang.
Ashley, did you get
Okay.
that? Ashley Sinclair.
Bada bang.
There you have it.
Boom.
There you have it. There was a banana situation.
Oh, wait. I
Since
just
we're
looked
on
in
the
chat.
topic
Wait.
of-
I just
yeah,
looked in
yeah.
the chat. She smells.
Oh, like that
Oh,
pussy
yeah.
stench.
Yeah, that. If you say that, how is it? Oh God, she's
Yeah, I
stinky.
think that's a pretty
That
good.
is-
Yeah,
that's-
that's very. That's
Although
very
some
offensive.
guys, they'll still go for it. They
Well,
will.
some guys
Some
don't
girls
care.
will still go for
the-
micros.
That's going to be a.
It's a lot harder,
Yeah, that's
but
fair. Since we're on the topic of just absolute degenerate conversation here,
Jesus.
what was the banana situation?
Oh Jesus.
Damn.
What'd you do with the banana?
Jesus. I mean, pardon my language, but someone you have to leave something for the book.
Oh, okay.
You gotta. Well, the funny.
I'll ask one thing.
The funny thing was about
Yeah.
the banana is the girl's a very good friend of mine still. And,
Okay.
we went to a book signing together, and she was like, "Hi, I'm the banana girl,"
Oh, wow.
and I just thought that was so endearing.
Nice.
And she was
Okay.
kind of like laughed, and she was very comfortable with herself.
Gotcha.
So I
Well,
think that's all you need to know about the banana.
one question with the banana. Was it peeled or unpeeled?
I have to think about that
I
now.
think
It's so
if it
long
was
ago.
unpeeled,
You might not get it out.
Correct,
It was,
it'd break.
it was definitely in its sheath.
Okay. All right.
Definitely in its sheath.
Gotcha. Got a couple more questions here, and then we're going to wrap up pretty soon. So let me see. Hold on. I'm just grabbing my notes. So
Banana.
you're half Asian, right? You're half Japanese. Is it correct?
Yes.
Gotcha. And so I have a couple Asian friends, and I've heard from a lot of Asian men that they struggle with dating, and they find that they encounter a lot of women who either, by their own admission, that they don't find them attractive, or they've even told me that even some Asian women don't find them attractive. Looking at you, Madysen.
Wow, Madysen.
So did you ever feel that you struggled with dating because you were Asian?
you were handsome.
I mean,
as
you're
hell.
like 6'2", you're a stud.
You guys are
but-
seeing this incarnation of me.
Sure.
I'll post on Instagram me as a 10-year-old kid.
Okay.
You know, nobody looked at that guy, that kid.
Yeah.
That chubby
yeah.
Asian-looking kid with the bowl haircut. Nobody looked at that guy and thought it would be this guy.
Gotcha.
So when I started dating is when I also started lying about my race.
Okay.
It was like when I was a freshman in high school, because I was teased when I was, fifth, sixth grade.
Yeah.
You know, slanted-eyed rice picker. Oh no, rice again. All the jokes. Even though I was half Asian, I grew up in Orange County, an all-white area, right? So when I changed high schools and I moved to Santa Ana, I made up a new story. I'm not Asian. I'm Hawaiian. I'm a surfer. And I grew my hair out, and I became, cool. I became this Hawaiian surfer, cool guy. And that was kind of an identity I kept. And then when I moved to Hollywood, I was long hair. I was Native American. I was anything but not to be Asian, because it was painful, those memories of kids teasing me. And, and that hurt my mom. My mom, was born in Japan. I was born in Japan. And the fact that I lied about my race, my heritage, really, really hurt her. So on American Gladiators, we went and did a show in Japan towards the end of American Gladiators. And I made it my goal to go on the Japanese version of Gladiators and speak in Japanese to make my mother proud. Now, I'd only seen my mom cry 2 times, because my mom's Asian, Japanese, and they don't show their emotion. She cried once when I was 10 years old and my 12-year-old brother died in my arms. He got electrocuted. She cried. And the next time she cried was when I was 27 years old, when she saw me on TV speaking Japanese. So I did not feel that women didn't date me because I was Asian, because I lied about it. I don't now. Now I'm so proud of my heritage. It took me maybe till I was 28.
Because like I said, I've heard from a lot of my Asian friends. They feel that it's difficult for them. Maybe there's some sort of stereotyping or some degree of discrimination. They're like normal guys. I'd say.
That's why. It's not because they're Asian.
Okay,
they're just normal.
They're just normal guys.
No,
I've heard that before.
No, but I mean,
I've heard that before. That it's hard. That a lot of Caucasian girls don't like Asians, and even Asian girls don't like Asian men. But I think that's a stereotype that's going away a little bit more. But I don't like Asian women. I won't date Asian women.
You won't, huh?
No.
Really?
Reminds me of my mother and my sister.
Oh, because I mean,
and my daughter.
So what I previously said on a different episode was that I've never, I'm not opposed to the whole dating an Asian man. I have a boyfriend, so I obviously wouldn't go for an Asian man right now. But I've never really found myself gravitating towards one. I didn't think it was that offensive. I mean,
look, you're attracted to what you're attracted to.
The very first, the 2 guys I first ever liked in my entire life were half Asian.
Okay.
But
it's okay. It's all right.
Yeah, I know.
You stepped on the wild side.
I think
just half.
diversity is beautiful. I'm not discriminating or anything.
Okay, I think. Look, I look at this generation.
You're framing me.
I feel like they're more colorblind than we were growing up. I feel like it's more inclusive now. At least that's kind of what I see. When I talk to my 12-year-old stepson, it's not like, ooh, I don't like her, she's Asian. Ooh, I don't like her, she's black. It's just like, oh, I kind of like her.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I think even kids, before we wrap this thing up, I think kids don't see color really. I think that our society teaches them to see color. But when you're growing up, you don't see color unless your parents do. It comes from your parents, right? Same thing with pretty much anything across the board. So
when you guys did a show in Japan, was it like a one-time show? Were you there too? Did you go to Japan?
I actually passed up that opportunity.
Okay.
I didn't keep hearing.
She didn't like Asian men.
I didn't like Asian men, so
what about
actually,
Asian
I just didn't want to take it. No.
Asian women?
Yeah. What about Asian women?
I think some of them are beautiful.
Have you ever hooked up with Asian women?
No, but I think they're beautiful.
Never.
No, it never presented itself.
It just never happened.
It just never presented itself. If the girl's beautiful, it's not like I'm going to go, oh God, no, you're Asian.
Okay,
no.
You're missing out.
Look, I have male friends. We call it yellow fever.
Yeah.
That's all they do is my buddy Tony Brill, that's all he would do all through college, and he married an Asian woman. He just only had eyes for Asian women. There could be the most beautiful models, right next to him, and Caucasian, he'd be like, nope, Asian.
Wait, just a point of clarification, because when we say Asian, it's like there's Asian American, and then there's women who've grown up in Asia, like from Japan, Korea, South Korea, I suppose North Korea too, Vietnam, et cetera, et cetera. So like never even like an Asian American woman, just never
presented itself.
Okay.
Just never presented
sure,
itself.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay,
So it's not like,
gotcha.
obviously one came on to me and I was like, oh God, no, never.
No. Okay.
never presented.
It just never happened.
No, it just never happened.
It never happened.
I think Asian women are beautiful.
I'm with you on
Yeah,
that.
I love
they
when I
are.
see Asian women are beautiful. Look, I think every race has beautiful women.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Of course.
I've seen every race. There's beauty. There's beauty out there.
Yeah. Oh, so the Japanese show, for American Gladiators, were they running their own thing and you went over there to like be on it, or was it just like a one-time?
So American Gladiators, we had it in America, and that show ran in 40 different countries. But there were 9 countries that did their own version of Gladiators.
Right, yeah.
The UK Gladiators was huge.
Yeah.
Australian, Finland, Germany. And Japan had a show
Africa.
called kind of Bam 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 Bap 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 or
Bang,
something.
bang, bang, I
Bang
think
Bang
it
Bang.
was.
Yeah,
Bang,
Bang Bang
bang,
Bang.
bang.
And the Gladiators was part of the Bang 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 show. So we went over and then we did different events and stuff. But my people are shorter. So we used to have this event called Atmosphere. I don't know if you guys remember. So we put us in these steel round cages.
Yep.
We were like hamsters. And we ran in these round cages and we would bust into each other. So you can look it up on YouTube, Atmosphere American Gladiators. And they made the cages smaller. So when I got in there, I was tall. And the first time I clanged with somebody, my head hit the top of the cage and split wide open. I just have blood dripping down my face. And it was funny. I'm a jokester. I like to joke around. So we go to the doctor after the surgeon, and I said, hey, look, I'm like samurai. I said, I don't want any painkiller. I don't want you to numb the area. And in America they'd be like, oh no, you got it. And that guy was like, okay, we do this. And he starts coming with the needle towards my head. I go, no, I'm just kidding. Give me the shot.
I think I have 2 more things here. So, and Nick, can you pull up Lori's Instagram? I saw on your Instagram that you had met or you're friends with Kevin Costner.
Yes.
Are you guys still friends were you friends with just him, his wife, or family friends?
Actually, no. I owned a tanning salon.
Okay.
Back in the day,
Yeah.
and it was his girlfriend at the time. It was Christine. She used to come in. We got chit-chatting. We started playing racquetball together, and it was always my boyfriend this, my boyfriend that. We'd go on hikes together. Finally, one day, I'm just like, who is your boyfriend? Oh, it's Kevin Costner. And I was like, I just kind of was like floored. I was like, seriously?
FTG, thank you for the gifted 50 memberships.
So we became very good friends, and we got invited to his wedding in Aspen. It was like a 3-day wedding. And then they actually have a house up here in Santa Barbara. So they sold their house in the Hollywood Hills, moved up here. They're awesome people, but unfortunately we lost contact basically when she started having children. She became the mom.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Because Kevin Costner, they recently got divorced.
Yeah. Well, they're kind of in the middle of it, I think.
Yeah, they're in the middle of it. Do you guys have any thoughts on? Because it's been a pretty publicized.
I mean, come on.
divorce.
Any kind of divorce is going to be gnarly.
Yeah.
And that's something, it's like, I don't wish that upon anybody. And I feel sorry for both parties because, it is. It's, both parties. But, there's kids involved now.
Yeah.
So I know that Kevin had I think he had the most expensive divorce, his first one. So I can only imagine what this one's going to be. I
think because they're actually conducting the court case here in Santa Barbara County. And my understanding is that she asked for, I think, $250,000 a month in, I think, combined spousal and child support. I think it got ruled for $120,000, I think, is what she's getting per month, which, like, to me is
but then what's on top of that? But what's on top of that? Because I know you got to look at a lot of the celebrities, and that is they have the prenups, but then afterwards, and he did Yellowstone and he did all that, so it's going to be a costly. But again, I don't know everything about that, and I
Right.
kind
You
of
haven't been in
don't
touch
want to
with-
know.
Sure,
You
yeah.
know, that's their business.
Gotcha.
And it's just too bad that they're actually going through this, and I feel sad for them.
Got it.
I think it's sad for the kids, but I
Yeah.
disagree in the fact that a divorce always has to end badly. You know, just
Yeah, it doesn't
because
have to be.
something ends, it doesn't have to end badly. I think that's up to the two people and how they decide to end it.
Right.
And even if you're with a partner and they are behaving badly or wrong, that doesn't mean you have to. You can control what you can do and who you are and how you want to be in that relationship. My last relationship that I had for 12 years, I just made it my goal. I said, just because this romantic journey ended badly, it doesn't mean that we have to end badly. And I'm going to be a gentleman. I'm going to be kind. I'm going to go out of my way to give her everything she wants. And she still won't talk to me.
Good times. Good times. Wait, was this a divorce or?
A 12-year relationship.
Okay.
Just
the divorce.
ending of it.
My stepson and his mother, the husband, they're both fantastic.
Yeah.
And I think that's a new model of what a breakup can look like. They get along really, really well. They co-parent him. He's a good guy. She's fantastic. And it's really nice to see that that's an option, because I think too many times we look out there and we say, oh man, I broke up. And even the words broke up, you know, we got ripped apart. You know, they're just so negative in their connotation.
Yeah.
I think, look, we tried. It didn't work. And, we just want to do something else, and that's okay. That's okay.
Got it.
You found out her body
So,
count.
When
You dumped her.
Here's my question: when Madysen turns 21, do you guys get to present alcohol to these things?
Oh, on here? Yeah. We have a lot of people or drink on here.
We
too, so,
I think it would make the
thing.
shows, in some ways it could make them a little more spicy, but we have concern of if we even someone
you've
who's
considered it.
Well, even someone who's over 21, it's they brought us on the show and then they got us drunk and then we said
then
all
they
this
have to
stupid
drive
stuff
home,
and
blah,
then
blah,
it's
blah.
gonna be
Right,
like
exactly.
So we don't want
Oh no, I was just thinking we've been sitting here so long, a couple drinks
guys-
would have been great.
Oh, we have some wine and some white claws or something if you guys want any.
I'm
It
good.
would have been.
I'm
It'd be
good.
like Bachelor in Paradise. Everybody's
shit, we
drunk
should've,
and the inhibitions go down.
Yeah,
Because you know how alcohol
next time.
affects the brain, right? The number one thing it does, there's something in your brain that causes us to be inhibited. When you drink, that goes down, so you become less inhibited. But I think with the
for
shows
sure.
that I've seen of you guys,
Which means the body count goes up.
the shows I've seen you guys, I think everyone speaks pretty freely, especially the panel shows.
Yeah.
And they're entertaining. They're good. I was watching
Yeah.
them before we came on the show, and I'm like,
nice.
oh, that's entertaining. I was like, stop watching. You've got work to do. Stop watching.
But yeah, they're long too. But
Well,
yeah.
but what's interesting is the issues are the same. You guys talk about, the same dating issues we
Yeah.
talked about in our day, and it's nice to be able to come back here, from being in that world at that age that you guys and your panels in, to come back and say, oh, God, I remember those. And you know what? It hasn't changed.
It's still the same. It's still the same.
Okay, I have to go feed my dogs now.
Yes. We got a couple chats here, and then we'll wrap up the show. We got Puffy Vegas. I'm dyslexic. That's why I spelled everything wrong. Okay, there you have it.
Now we feel
Grammarly
bad.
is free.
Now, yeah, we feel bad now, Puffy. I have Puffy. What are you doing, brother? Okay, I have 9 inches. I didn't know I special. I special. Okay, thank you, Puffy Vegas. And last one, we have Vapor Alien. First time commenting, but I absolutely love having such a gap in age. Talking about dating. Talking about dating. Okay, well, they're only like 5 years older than us. It's not a big deal, guys. Come on. They're young. What are you talking about? Final thoughts before we wrap up. I think the only other thing was, do you guys feel that? I know both of you have been in rather long-term relationships, but do you feel that dating has changed significantly back when you guys were, throughout the 80s, 90s compared to today?
That's such
Or
a
is it-
damn long question.
Give me a plot synopsis. How about that?
I think it's changed. I wouldn't want to be in it right now whatsoever.
It's definitely pretty messy.
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty messy. Well, it's good that you've been in a long relationship.
Yeah.
You've avoided the.
And my long relationship is losing her shit right now because we got to go feed our
Sure,
dogs.
So what you were saying is when I watched the show, when I watched you guys, it didn't seem like things have changed. They still have the same issues. Does he like me? What's the penis size? What's the body count? Those are all things I was concerned about at that age. So to me, it hasn't changed. Maybe the delivery service, before we used to actually mail letters and you actually had to go talk to somebody. So the delivery service of using an app to date has changed.
Right.
But I think the problems haven't changed and the challenges, except for now, I think as men, you have to be much more careful what you do and what you say, and you always have to go out of your way to get, which rightfully it should be, to get consent. And I think that's groovy. I think it's great. And I think that's probably the biggest change and a good change.
Got it. Okay, guys. Last call. Hit the like button, please. Oh, okay. We have one more.
Mazak87 donated $99.
Thank you,
Great
man.
show today, Brain.
Thank you.
It's a nice change of pace to have some people with intellect. All the girls in 304's got kind of tiring and mind-numbing. Great job. And great guests.
Hey, Zach, thank you, man.
Awesome.
Appreciate it. I thought it was a good call, good conversation, and I switched it up a little bit. Obviously, normally we have these big 7 to 10 people panels, and we've got like content creators, OF girls, college girls, but I wanted to switch it up a little bit. So I'm glad that you enjoyed the show. I thought it was a fun conversation and something new. I wanted to try something a little new. We'll be back with our normal shows Sunday. And by the way, thank you for the gift. I think you gifted a couple Twitch subs, so thank you. Thank you for tuning in tonight. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you were here with me. I appreciate that. Thank you to everyone who super chatted, donates, and supports the show. Big thank you to Dan and Lori for joining us.
Thank you.
Dan has books here. He has Gladiator. Oops, let me hold it down here. He's got Gladiator, and he has F Dying. So Gladiator, a true story of roids, rage, and redemption, and F Dying, how cheating death kicked my ass into loving, learning, and living my best life. And also be sure to check out Lori's podcast, Chillin' with Ice. We have all the links for everybody, or all those things in the description. And her Ice t-shirts store, link for that is also in the description. Thank you to all our chat mods. There it is. It's on her shirt. Thank you to our chat mods. Thank you to Britt, who's helping with timestamps. Any women who want to be on the show, DM at whatever on Instagram. We will be live again Sunday at 5 p.m. Pacific. We'll see you guys next time. Good night, guys. Thank you for tuning in.